What?
And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner!
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
There's nowhere for him to go. I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever.
All Man United fans live in the past.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the weekly recap extravaganza from We Are Soccer. Thank you for joining us. All right, 6-0 USA over Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we played two teams today. Amazingly, it's crazy. 6-0, 6 to the USA, 0 to Trinidad, and 0 to Tobago. Amazing how we are so good we beat two different teams. Joking, obviously. All right, in the other game that happened in the group today, Jamaica beats St. Kitts and Nevis 5-0. USA finishes first in the group. Jamaica second. We'll talk about that in a little bit. What a great game. Some great goals, to be honest. Some good defending. Not too much. I mean, maybe one or two little pieces here for Matt Turner and the defense to worry about. But other than that, USA was comfortably in control. Lots to get to today. All right, so yes, the Gold Cup is going to be topic number one. Then we're talking transfers. We're talking about the Bayern Munich saga with Harry Kane. We're talking about Declan Rice moving. We're talking about U.S. men's national team players galore. Pulisic, Weah, Musa, Aronson, Zach Steffen. We've got Man United stuff we're going to talk about. Transfers there, the Mason Mount, David De Gea. Where's he going? Is he staying? How's he been treated? We're talking Jadon Sancho. Bids come in there. Where's their striker search at? We're talking MLS. We're talking NWSL. Then we've had a video from someone who claims they're one of my relatives. I'm not quite sure. These videos keep rolling in. I do not know where they're coming from. This is absolutely bizarre. We will see this. His name is Larry.
How big is the Hearn family tree there?
This is what I'm wondering.
How many uncles do you have?
I know. Maybe a couple. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
People, now that we're large,
Yeah.
we're very popular on YouTube, people want to know us and people want to claim to know us.
Yeah.
As you hear there, that is Brooks. He's at the kids' table, and he is joined by our good friend, Danny Price. Danny, welcome to We Are Soccer. Welcome back to We Are Soccer, and taking the place of Nate, as he is trying to fight off bears to save his family in the woods of Ohio.
By Akron.
Oh, poor Nate.
Yeah.
Well, to pay homage to our friend, the guy to my left here.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Iceman himself, as we call him, because he's cold as ice.
Cold as ice.
Ladies, he's single. He's always ready to mingle.
Oh.
Brooks Lambier Jr.
Always twice.
Always twice.
Always twice.
That was a pretty good
That's a good
intro, Danny. Well done.
That was a good one.
I've been practicing in front of the mirror all week just to pay homage to our friend Nate. So.
Yeah. Interesting. Is it better than Nate's?
I don't want to say that. I don't want to piss him off.
I don't want to make him cry.
I don't want to make him cry.
Probably watching us right now from
He
the
is
campsite.
busy fighting off bears. He is camping in Ohio,
Yes.
which is bizarre to me. We'll get to that in a minute. Brooks, how are you? How was the weekend? How have things been, buddy?
Good. A lot of so not like youth matches, but a lot of like semi-amateur matches. So watched the UPSL match on Tuesday night. 6 red cards in that one between Allianz FC and Detroit United. So that was interesting. And it got moved from Berkeley High School to Wixom because of the air quality. So that was interesting. Thursday night, AFC Ann Arbor was supposed to go out to Midwest United, and then everything happened. It got moved to Total Soccer Wixom.
Oh, boy.
So I was at Wixom twice to watch some indoor matches. And then Saturday, I watched at least a half of the OCFC versus Midwest United match at Royal Oak High School. And then it started to pour rain, and I just, can't really write notes when it pours rain. So it was good, though. A lot of soccer.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, listen, let me get back to my screen here. All right, boys. Before we jump in, I do want to give a big thank you to the partners of this show, of the We Are Soccer show. Soccer World, you can visit them at soccerworld.net online for all your soccer gear needs. Big thank you to them. Big thank you to Next Level Training, Aaron Bird, Scotty Wright, Renato, Dylan, the boys there. Big thank you to them. They are the best trainers in the country. Trust me. Dog and Pony Show Brewing. Appreciate the love and support you guys give us. Drinking your beer right now. This is the Old Dog New Trick IPA, and it is absolutely delicious. So thank you to Dog and Pony Show. Thank you to Michigan Jaguars. Appreciate all the love you guys have shown us as well. We're going to be doing a couple more videos for the Michigan Jags coming up soon, so keep your eye out there. For more information, visit MichiganJaguarsFC.com. All right, big thank you to those friends and partners there. All right, boys, first quick question before we jump into we'll call it the game of USA versus Trinidad and Tobago. USA just dominated there. But before we jump in, I do want to ask you, camping? Camping? I'm not a camper. I don't
Not a
like
big
camping.
fan.
Yeah,
Not a big fan.
yeah, Brooks and Danny,
like-
definitely not a fan,
No,
right?
not
I
a
mind
fan.
going on like trail
Not a
runs or walks or whatever, but no,
No. Yeah.
not really a
That's
camper.
such an irrational fear of spiders. There'd be no way I'd be camping outside unless he's, in a camper van, of course.
I mean, listen, I'm not going anywhere.
that's
I
called
can't plug
glam-
it.
I think it's
can't
called
plug my
glamping.
hair dryer into. So it's called what?
I think it's called glamping.
Yeah, I'm down with glamping. Yeah.
Is Nate doing that, or is he being?
No,
Is he
no.
being like Survivor-esque?
Nate,
Like
I mean,
he's
this
naked man living in the woods.
naked man living in the woods.
He's biting the heads off a chicken.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, and having his family and kids defeather the chicken so he can roast it on a fucking fire and feed it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Danny. Not camping, not my thing. Listen, I gotta be. If I'm going somewhere, I need to be able to plug my hair dryer in. All right.
You have hair?
I mean, in some places, yeah, it's crazy. Let's just leave it at that. All right, boys. Listen, Jamaica kind of didn't get the job done on their end. They didn't beat Kitts and Nevis. They finished 5-0. I think the final was there, but USA got the job done. 6-0 against Trinidad and Tobago. We watched it here in the studio. There were some good goals. Jesus Ferreira, by the way, sets a record. Makes history. The first U.S. player to ever score back-to-back hat tricks. Didn't see that coming. And then they put up the stat at halftime that he now has 3 hat tricks for the U.S. men's national team, tying at top of the lead with Landon Donovan. Overall, though, good game, right? I think the USA played well. We know this isn't their A team, but I think they played very well. Your thoughts, Danny and Brooks?
Yeah, I thought it was a good game today. I wasn't particularly impressed with the game against Jamaica.
Agreed.
I know I know BJ made a lot of changes from the National League, but I'll go back to it. One play that really impressed me was Cade Cowell. Late entry into the game against Jamaica, and he completely changed it. And he came in again today and put in a stellar performance. So, I think I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game.
Yeah, I think it was. It's nice to know. I mean, because I know Sonora had an injury. Jordan Morris has an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden Morris had to leave for undisclosed reasons. So I don't know if it was a family thing or whatever.
That's interesting. I did not
That's
hear
why-
that. That's why he.
I saw that
okay,
earlier
okay,
today.
all
So that's
right.
why he wasn't playing. So, you essentially lost a few starters from the first match against Jamaica. Aiden Morris being probably the one that probably made the biggest difference in that match against Jamaica. Jordan Morris obviously having that one just before the half against Jamaica that he just couldn't finish and put away.
Sure.
The one scoring chance. And then Sonora was not really particularly very good in that Jamaica match. But those are 3, I would probably consider them high-level B players.
High-level B players, and we know this is a B-level team, C-level
Yeah.
at the max. But I think when the lineup came out, we all went, okay, this is interesting. They got
I liked-
Mahalovic. I think we were like,
Yes.
okay.
No,
But
I like
overall, he played really well.
Yeah. I like the 2 center back pairing,
Yeah.
Neal and Robinson. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you and I were talking. I think that really solidifies him jumping Aaron Long, to be honest with you. I would take the younger.
100%.
I'd take the young 20, and he may not be 20 yet, but I would take the young former LA Galaxy Academy kid who starts a lot for LA.
Mm-hmm.
I would take him and pair him with Richards, Robinson, Zimmerman, whoever. Like
I would
he's
love
in
to
it
see
for
him
me.
paired with Richards. I think
Yeah.
Neal and Richards together would be great.
Yes.
Danny, you were a little disappointed that Cade Cowell didn't start at first, but he did come on and he made a difference. You had said something that you really liked the way he came on in the Jamaica game and made a difference there. You seem to be a big fan of his.
I thought he changed the game, really, to be honest with you, in terms of, his pace and power and ability to beat defenders. He put in some really stellar performances at the Under-20 World Cup, and, it's good to know that sort of talent is emerging in the U.S. men's national team. I know, Brooks is not a big-ish fan, but,
Cade?
yeah.
I mean, listen, he has pace, right? So you can't teach pace, as we talked about. He's an athlete. You can't teach that. I just think for how long he's been with San Jose, what's the learning curve at some point where he finally realizes that he needs to use the left foot and he needs to improve on his finishing. He scores some spectacular goals before for San Jose. I'm not going to deny that.
I think one of the
it's consistency, though.
I think one of the things that we seem to forget is the fact that they're still playing on an international stage here.
Yeah.
They're still playing international football. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. I mean, you take the St. Kitts game, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 6-0 win. It was quite flattering, really, in the end, because, to be honest with you, in the second half, they missed so many chances.
Oh, my gosh,
10,
yes.
12.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
To put in those types of performances, I thought Ferreira was outstanding, probably the most standout player over the 3 games, in my opinion. I know Nate won't like me saying that. But
he is very interesting, and he was interesting in the World. When he started the first game, right, and he wasn't really utilized the other games. And I just think people, if you haven't watched a lot of Jesus Ferreira with FC Dallas, I think the one thing he does very well in particular, then probably the other forwards we have, Vasquez is kind of there, but he's not as Jesus Ferreira can drop into the midfield and help overload the midfield, and he can turn and play balls through. But he's also a very good off the shoulder runner. You can play him wide sometimes. He's not a bad 1v1 attacker, but he's used very uniquely at FC Dallas, and that's why he scored a lot of goals over the year when you pair him with like Paul Arriola and a few other guys. So he is a very unique center forward. Just physically, he's just a little, if you put it against like a Virgil van Dijk or someone, or even a Harry Maguire, it's going to be be tough for him because they can push him around.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, I think one thing we saw today, he is deadly in the box.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The man is a shark in the box.
Yes. Quick feet, technical.
It's very quick feet. The first 2 goals today, one touch shoot. The first goal came across from Dwan Jones, our boy Dwan Jones. Everybody here, big fan. We'll call him friends of the family, right?
Yes.
Right. He is. He's part of our group. Dwan Jones gets the ball, cuts it back. Ferreira takes a touch with his left foot and the ball takes a little bit of a hop before the thing even touches the ground. He's hitting it with his right foot to the far side. Defenders and goalies, they hate that. I mean, he's just quick. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, set himself up. Just so good technically with his first and second touch. The problem is in the bigger games, we'll call it, against the Mexicos or the European giants, you're not going to have that time. The defenders are closer, so he's able to expose that. I will say in the Jamaica game, I thought Jesus Ferreira did a very nice job of coming back, receiving the ball, running with it, and laying it off. He laid the ball off to 2 or 3 players who missed easy-ish shots on goal and goals. But overall, I think we can all agree the 3 games, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad Tobago, Jesus Ferreira is probably the player of the 3 games, player of the group stages.
Sure.
He, for me, puts the ball in the back of the net.
Yep.
Easier said than done. I don't care who the opponent is. He did his job to a T.
I know that we discussed this when we were watching the game, right? And we were talking about Ferreira jumping to that next level. Playing with the top players of the U.S. men's national team.
Yep.
Right. There was a few moments today where his hold-up play or his build-up play or final third play, it wasn't quite quick enough.
Yep.
It wasn't quite quick enough. The decision-making wasn't quite there. And again, against those better opponents, a Germany, an England, an Argentina.
Faster game.
Faster opponents,
Yeah.
faster games.
Even Mexico.
Yeah, I think he's really going to struggle, but there was no doubt in his ability to finish in the box today.
Yeah.
I think you're 100% correct. I would just love to see him go there and give him 6 and 12 months at a Bundesliga or at a championship or even at a premiership, not a top-level premiership team. Maybe it's a Wolves or someone lower, West Hamish, right? And say, you've got a year. Let's figure this out because I think he can. I think he can do it. I think he can be a very good player to do that, but it'll take some time. He's not there yet. He is still young.
You and your Premier League prediction.
man.
Craig, you're jumping the shark, my friend.
Hey, man.
You're jumping the shark.
It is.
I think
it's what every
Italy
player
or
wants to be at.
Bundesliga is probably the best way to start, and then you can eventually move. Danny and I have discussed this in our group text. We feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yes.
listen, we all know it. The Premiership is the top level. It's the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
It's what happens. Below that, you've got La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga, right?
Yeah, conquer those before you can
gotta
conquer
conquer
the
those.
best one.
If you're good enough, you can get to the Premiership, and it's what everybody wants to do. But I will say, there are a couple of players who've gone to the Premiership who we all looked at and said, is he good enough? Is he quite good enough? And they've made it. and maybe not the best in the league, but they've made it. I think Jesus Ferreira can make it. Now, I think he's put himself out there on the shop window with these performances.
Yeah.
I think clubs are going to take notice. I think some of those, we'll call them lower level Premiership clubs, will have taken notice.
I'm telling you now, like, scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in the game. And if you're
Correct.
scoring goals on the international level, then somebody's looking at you, whether it's lower level Premier League or whether it's the Bundesliga, somebody's looking at you because they're hard to come by.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As you said, the hardest thing in the world to do is score goals. And I don't care what level you're at, is scoring goals. Okay, so I don't know if we know yet who the USA play moving forward. It's going to be interesting, but they have advanced, which is good. I think they got the job done. Again, maybe if we could criticize anything, it was the lack of finishing, the lack of real quality against Jamaica. But besides that, I thought they came out nicely, got a point there. St. Kitts and Nevis did the job. Trinidad and Tobago did the job. All very well and good. I would love people's feedback. Who did you enjoy watching? Because obviously this is not our top level team. The U.S. men's national team is Pulisic, McKinney, Adams, Richards, Zimmerman, those type of players. Who did you enjoy watching, and who do you think needs to make that jump to the next level? Is it Mihalovic? We know Ferreira is pretty much there, but is it Mihalovic? Is it Aiden Morris? Is it O'Neal? Is it Dwan Jones, who I thought who really impressed? I do want to take a couple of minutes. Danny, you coached Dwan Jones back in the day. We were having some interesting conversations there. So you guys who have kids who play and you love watching our show, Danny coached Dwan Jones when he was, 8, 9, 10, something like that. And you said he and I don't think Dwan would have any issues with us talking about this. He had, my son has the same thing, a couple of issues in his head when he gets a little down in a game. And now look at him. He's representing the USA at the highest level possible. There's no better level for him to get to on the international level, right?
Yeah, he'd get upset with himself. He was playing as a forward back then. All the way through under 17, really, when we won the Super Y National Championship for Force Football Club, and he used to, very early on in his career, very young, 8, 9, 10 years old, as most 8, 9, 10-year-old kids do in front of goal. They miss a chance, and they get upset with themselves and they lose that little bit of composure. So, but what a great player.
Yeah. And I would say, after talking to him a couple times myself, I've interviewed him, I've bumped into him a few places and just talked to him. What a humble young man. Just can't wish for anything more for the kid. He is just absolutely a great kid, and he just wants to work hard. And Brooks, I know you'll hate to say that, you hate to hear this, but one of the things Dwan and I did talk about was he has aspirations to make it to Europe. He has aspirations to get to that next level. But he wants to do that.
I don't hate it.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
Right.
I mean, he's been linked to the Bundesliga. I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
It's just career suicide when you just
Go too early. When you go too early.
No, when you make the wrong decision, then you don't want to go up and then go back. You want to kind of progress up the ladder.
Yeah.
Because once you go up and people are like, you can't make it, it's hard to then go down and then go back up.
There is also a little bit of a learning curve, right? You get to these higher levels and you're not expected to perform. You're not expected to be the best in the league. You're expected to come in and learn and grow. And I think that's what happens a lot of the time. I really hope he can. I don't have to hope. I know he will. I think someone's going to come in the next 12 months and put in a bid for him, and he's going to be off to Europe, whether it's a Bundesliga, the Eredivisie, or even a Championship, or who knows. He is so athletic, and I think today he showed against some really high-level opponents. He can probably play in the Premiership for a decent team. I think he's got his ceiling. His ceiling is so high. Boys, he really showed some real skill and some real awareness on the field in the last couple of games for me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's improved with his left foot. I mean, he had a pretty decent left foot at Michigan State, but I think working with next level training and Aaron Bird, doing a lot of just basic generic, work with technical work and then scanning and positioning and moving off the ball. That's the game. That's the game right there.
Yep, you took the words out of my mouth. He is a next level training guy. He comes and trains with Aaron Bird in the next level training group here, actually in the facility we're in, or our studio's at, and I've seen him a couple of times.
One of the few.
Yeah, exactly. One of the few. He has Aaron Bird and the next level training guys have a couple of facilities. All right, I do want to ask guys, boys, real quick. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, I think it's been 2 weeks now, we found out that Greg Berhalter is going to be the men's national team coach again. He is. I know you're not happy with it. I am. I think it's a really good hire. I do want, before we get there,
What's Danny think?
I'd love to know Danny's opinion on that, but I also want to segue this into another little piece here. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, Greg Berhalter was named the new coach, or the returning coach. The new boss is the same as the old boss, as the Who famously said. But listen, BJ Callahan, is running the show right now. Do you think Greg Berhalter has been in his ear and said, I would like to see this player play, I want to put this player out there, and here's the lineup? What are your thoughts there? Because essentially BJ Callahan will essentially dissolve into Greg's backroom staff again. So what are your boys' thoughts? Danny.
Sorry, Danny.
Danny, go ahead. Let me know.
Oh, man. I thought, to be honest with you, I actually thought some of the performances at the World Cup under Berhalter were good performances. I really enjoyed the way that the US played against the World Cup, and I'm not ashamed to admit that they actually played really well against England.
I thought they came out and did a very nice job. They should have won that game, to be honest.
Really
I think
have,
England sat back and had the wrong game plan, personally.
Yeah, he set them up well. Yeah. Obviously we know the issues, within the camp with Gio Reyna, and we know the issues in the camp off with Gio Reyna's family and stuff like that. But I don't think, I think he's been terrific as a coach and terrific as a manager. So, the performances don't lie. The performances are what the U.S. soccer national team want. And, if that's the appointment, then, we've got to trust that, right?
I don't mind the performance. You're 100% right. The performances were there. He trounced Mexico. That's the most dominant I've ever seen against Mexico in a very, very long time. It's not the performance. It's the picking of the players and realizing you screwed up and you had to make the decision. And then, to me, the whole debacle of playing, in my opinion, favoritism and choosing the wrong players for the World Cup squad, where there's about 2 to 3 players that probably shouldn't have been there that he needed to replace with other guys. That was my whole.
But I think that's the same for any national team manager, though, right? I've got qualms about Southgate and some of the stuff that he does for the English national team, but the underlying, the absolute, elephant in the room was Gio Reyna. Yeah, his performances leading into the World Cup for Dortmund were.
But with England, I think
level.
I need those guys that the top 40 players, if you wanted to choose from, that you could choose from in that England squad. I would want all 40 probably. In America, there's probably about 25 of them I probably really don't want.
I'm not sure I want Harry Maguire at centre-back in the next European Championships. But
he's played...
But he plays so well for England. He doesn't put a foot wrong for England.
But, they play at a high level, and, I'm not saying Harry Maguire is the best centre-back in the EPL, but, there are some players that are better than most of the U.S. men's national team guys. You know what I mean? Like if they could do a one-time switch, I would take, the bottom 10 of that 40 to the men's national team, and that would really improve our men's national team squad.
Agreed, and I think that's what Berhalter has tried to do, right? He's gone after players like Balogun who can do
the young ones that don't have a shot or that have to wait a long time, which is a smart move.
Yeah, agreed. And listen, I think we could argue all day long that all the managers made a mistake over the World Cup. Maybe Haji Wright was a terrible mistake. It was a terrible mistake. God knows why the heck he was on that roster and why the hell he got into those games. Where was Pepe? Where was
Herrera? He only played one game, really.
He only played one game.
Well, he kind of maybe like 1.5 or whatever.
Pifak and Pepe.
Exactly.
For me, those are players who, yes, they had some missteps.
Why was Shaq Moore there?
Up.
Shaq Moore was a weird one too.
Why? But overall, as Danny said, he's won some good things, and in those games at the World Cup, I think the USA did very well. They showed really well against England. I think they showed well against the Dutch. But really, do we expect Greg Berhalter to beat a Louis van Gaal coach team? That's not going to happen.
With the right players, I think it can.
No, it's not going to happen because
Oh.
the Dutch players are, and I apologize for this, superior to the American players. And then you have Van Gaal.
Yeah, that
takes it
first
to
half,
here.
they had their moments, Craig, to take go ahead in that game.
Or
mean, if you-
were the Dutch just biding their time?
What happened to the
Biding
one year
up
we
their
beat
time?
Spain in Confederations Cup, that
happens.
Spanish team?
It absolutely happens.
I'm going to say that there was some really good performances by the U.S. men's national team over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
In friendlies, in non-competition, like against big countries.
Yeah.
Against really big countries.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, one of the highlighting things for me from the last World Cup with the U.S. men's national team was Tyler Adams. I'd never even heard of him before, really, to be honest with you. And
came on the stage and blew
he
everything
came on
away.
the stage and blew it away. And now, obviously we'll hopefully get into it a little bit later, but Leeds getting relegated and stuff like that. I mean, as a holding central midfielder and somebody with pace and power and control a game, I'd love him. at
Old
United,
school.
I'd love him. at
I
United.
do want to get to that. We'll get to the United in a little bit here. So for folks who are waiting, hold on real quick. We are going to get to United transfers and rumors because, Danny, you 100% would love to know your thoughts on Tyler Adams and some of the moves that are coming up.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't switch the camera there. Lots to get to. Just so everybody's aware, we got a lot to get to today. We're going to talk transfers and rumors. We got Bayern Munich, Declan Rice, Pulisic, Weah, Musa, Aronson, Stefan, Tyler Adams, and then we get into Man United. We've got, as I look at my board here, NWSL, MLS. We're going to read off some funny comments. By the way, boys, one of the things we put on the group, the Facebook group. So if you're only watching on YouTube, please jump to our Facebook group. We put a question out there. What is something you can say on a soccer field that you cannot say or mean something completely different in real life? We'll read off some of those answers. And then a bunch of rumors, a bunch of other stuff. So again, we got a video from some weirdo who claims to be my second cousin. We'll show you that in a little bit. Brooks, you have your hand up like you do usually at the kids' table.
I do.
What
I
do
just
you
don't
want?
want to interrupt you, because
go
you're
for
on
it.
a roll there.
I was a little bit.
Okay,
Apologies.
Don has one. We
Oh,
can,
Don,
we'll
thank
finish
God
up.
he came over from Facebook to YouTube. Don,
I know.
I cannot tell you how much we've been missing you. Give me a second here. I do want to say, I'm going to do the, Don is one of my favorite people for our Facebook group. He really keeps that group going.
He does.
And posts some great stuff. So,
Yes.
Don, thank you. Appreciate it.
So before we transition to our next segment, Don has, what if the U.S. crash out of Copa America? He said he'd fire Greg Berhalter if they crash out of Copa. Would you do that?
Ooh, no. Listen, if they crash out, I think there's a reason.
Sure.
There's a 3-year plan in place.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Matt Crocker came in. Matt Crocker's he 100%. I don't want to buy into the conspiracy theories that, hey, Matt Crocker, we're going to hire you. By the way, hire Greg Berhalter. This is our guy.
You mean my conspiracy theory?
Yes, your conspiracy theory. I'm not buying into that. I think he came in
I don't
and
know.
they
I
said,
don't know. Brooks has got some pretty good conspiracy theories of late.
Did you hear that one?
I heard it, yeah.
but I've also heard
Did
his
you-
Bigfoot theory. I've also heard his MH380 theory. I've also heard his
Aliens
Bitcoin
are
and
real,
aliens are
Craig.
real. Right.
Yes.
I've heard these. But I do want to say the Berhalter theory and Matt Crocker. I think U.S. Soccer hired Matt Crocker and they said, go through the interviews, interview whoever's available, and then we want your honest evaluation at the end. I think they went through it. And one
Because
of the
they
things,
had to.
because they had to. One of the things I really liked that they did was they talked to the higher level players like Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, probably a Kellen Acosta, who we all know from the show. And those guys voted and said, listen, we know Greg Berhalter had some issues, but we all backed him. We were buying what he was selling. Yes, there was some Gio Reyna stuff in the background, but this is the man going forward who I think we should hire.
Yes.
And I think Matt Crocker came in, did his due diligence, and said, hey, man, out of all the candidates that are out there, this is the guy. Don't forget, U.S. Soccer was so audacious, they sent an envelope full of cash to Zinedine Zidane. No, I don't know if it was full of cash. I'm making that up. But they did send an offer to Zinedine Zidane. That just blows my mind because the man doesn't speak English. You don't know what he wants to do. So you offered him the job without interviewing the guy. Yes, he was a legendary player and a pretty much legendary coach. Was that just like a weird tactic out there? Greg Berhalter, for everybody who was applying for the job and available for the job, I think was the best player. Just an FYI, that's my feelings on that, guys. I don't know. I think that even if we crash out of Copa, there's a 3-year plan
They won't
in
fire him.
place.
This-
Because
yeah.
it's all about getting the right players in, the right system, figuring out who plays well next to who, making sure who can absorb the information, and it's all about 2026. World Cup 2026 here in North America, and that is what is the main goal. Right
So for me, it's kind of like I'm going to compare it to a smaller, like mid-level D1 college soccer program. Like how this called.
I'm interested to know where you're going with this.
Are you ready? Ready?
This is interesting.
So it's like a top tier, like mid D1, small D1 that's got like a really good team. They had a good season. They have a lot of
give me
seniors
a
coming
team.
back and everything.
Give me a team. Who?
Well, let's go with Western Michigan.
Western Michigan.
West,
all right,
for
all right.
sure, because
Kinda
they've
low-
done this in the past.
Yep.
Because Chad Wiseman's not afraid to do this. He'll go play UVA at UVA. He'll go play Portland University, University of
They'll
Portland. at
play the
University-
big boys.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is what I'm comparing it to. This is what the men's national team are doing. We're kind of like that that mid-level, I would say, kind of like national team. Like we're in the top 10 or whatever, but we're trying to prove ourselves against the big boys. And the big wins we get a better reputation. But you can't fault us for going to play the big boys if we have, if we lose or whatnot, because depending on how bad we lose, obviously. But you can't fault them because they're trying, and that's what the U.S. Soccer's trying to do is. That's why you have October friendlies. It's Ghana and Germany, right? And the September friendlies aren't too great with Uzbekistan and another country we're playing, but they want to go out and play tougher competition to prepare for the World Cup 2026. So
Yeah, I don't think
that's why you can't fire him, in my opinion, because they're going to play tougher competition. They're trying to prep for it, and you can't change the plan now because that would be disastrous if they just changed.
Yeah,
Unless something crazy happened.
I don't think they'll fire him either. I think that I think the World Cup here,
Mhm.
will be something that they'll look into. For him to still be involved in, see what they can do based off the last World Cup. I thought they did very well, and he obviously had them moving, and playing some good football. But I think he needs to sort out the Gio Reyna problem, because that is what a talented kid, what a talented kid to miss out on a big stage like that.
Absolutely. I think we saw at the Nations League games against Mexico and Canada, Gio Reyna can be an absolute world beater. He can be a difference maker in a game. And you're right, Greg Berhalter has got to sort that out. He's got to, but to be honest, Gio Reyna has to just man up, and he has to say, you know what, my family, my parents made a mistake. I made a mistake by sulking. I made a mistake by not supporting the team properly. Let's do this. I'm all on board. The only thing that matters is winning. So I'm buying in, because you know what? All my buddies are buying in.
Yes.
And the whole nation is buying in. So guess what? I'm in. He needs He needs to man up and really just say, I'm going to put my head down at Borussia Dortmund. I'm going to get the starting spot. I'm going to play like I know I can play. And when I get to the national team, I'm going to play like I know I can play. And we've all been in that situation as players where the coach wants to put you on the bench or bring you off the bench or not give you the right minutes or play out of position. You just have to deal with it.
Yep.
I mean, people need to realize that, listen, I don't think if Gio Reyna had pictures on Greg Berhalter, if it came down to winning games, Berhalter would play him, because Berhalter needs to win games to keep his job.
I think
and that's what it is.
So I think what this comes down to with Pepe and Reyna is how Berhalter approaches the conversation with them. If he's had it, if he's not had it, how that goes dictates how things for going
Yeah,
forward.
absolutely. And don't you think that Matt Crocker had those conversations?
But you can't, hold on, but
Had
A
those
lot of the
conversations with Berhalter.
But a lot of the players came out in support of Gio Reyna, though, didn't they?
yes,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
did.
Sig was
Yeah.
one of them.
But
So that's
this
the
is a-
captain of the U.S. men's national team coming out and saying that, hey, the way that you handled this was
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he also then came out and said, we want Berhalter back.
Yeah, of course.
Weeks before it was announced.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you knew, but anyway, you're right.
I'm just
Right.
saying though, the way he approaches this dictates things. How if
Yeah,
if it's a BS, I see through the lines type of apology,
Yeah.
this is not going to go well.
He-
If it is from the heart and that he's sincere and that he's honest with Gio and Pepe, then I think everything rolls well.
This is a business. This is a business. You can say it's a locker room, you can say it's a team, you can say that, but it's a business. Berhalter needs to make them understand, I made decisions based on the team and what I thought was best in the games we were playing. He just needs to state his case. Again, I will say he's wrong. I thought Gio should have played more minutes in the World Cup. I thought Pepe should have been there. I thought Pifak should have been there, but it is what it is. Brooks, you're not wrong, though. He does need to
And all U.S. men's national team parents need to sign waivers that they can't interfere with things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Moms and dads.
moms,
Yes.
dads, uncles. Yeah, sign those.
So my parents, if you're watching, no comments.
No, yeah, keep the comments away from Danny and Berhalter.
Yes.
All right, boys, listen. Transfers, rumors. I love the offseason. It's funny. My wife always says, you're going to do the show again this week for 2 hours. Is there really anything to talk about? Sure, the U.S.
Yes.
men's team played, and you guys can talk for 10 minutes about that. But is there anything else really? And I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? I mean, Bayern Munich just put in they're about to prepare a second bid for Harry Kane. The first one of 70 million euros was turned down, 70 million plus add-ons. So that was turned down. Declan Rice went for 105 million pounds, US, English transfer record there. Pulisic, Weah, Musa, Aronson, Stefan, all moving. All right, Danny, I want your opinion real quick. I know it's early days, essentially, in the transfer window here, or about a month in, just a little over a month into the window. Who do you think has won so far or is leading the race? Who's done the best so far, in your opinion?
I think if the Declan Rice deal goes through for Arsenal, you could probably say that Arsenal have probably had the better window so far. I hate to say this, Nate is going to be crawling up my ass when we get out of this place. But
If he's watching.
Yeah. I'd love some of the moves that Villa have made. I really do.
You are now best friends with Craig.
Yep.
I think they've made some really astute signings. But Arsenal, for me, I think if they get Havertz over the line, they've got Havertz over the line. He's already in, right? 65 million.
That was a great move by Arsenal
I think that was a great signing as well.
because
Yeah.
they needed extra attackers, right? Like at some point the
It
goals
was,
were
but
just coming.
It was, but I don't think he's going to play down the middle. I think he'll
Play wide, right?
A wide left.
I can see him playing in a midfield three with Rice
Has he played midfield
and
before?
Havertz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he played
I can
that for
see him. I
Germany.
can see him wide left with Rice in the middle, and I do think, according to the man we all know and trust, we don't know him. Sorry,
Nate?
no, Fabrizio Romano.
Oh.
Like he has said, this is a done deal. The Rice deal is done. They're just the last details are there. So I think the Rice one gets
I think
done.
the only thing that's holding it up right now, and here's the interesting fact, and I did a little bit more research on this today, but the only thing that's holding it up right now is Arsenal want to spread out the fee
Yeah.
over 3 years with the whole amount considered complete in 2025, and West Ham are not having it.
Do they want it all up front?
They want it. I think they want it. I think they want half this year, and then they want half of it next year. And I think the only reason that Arsenal want to spread it out over 3 years is because of the Havertz deal
Yep.
and the Timber deal that they're about to do.
Yeah, they're about to sign the Timber deal, so that's a good one there. Yeah.
He's from Ajax, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
you're looking at 200 and 220, 230
I was about to say
plus.
it's 220, 225.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
But not to cut you off, but they got their transfers done early. They set their targets and they said, this is who, and what is it going to cost? Let's deal with it and get it done now. Is it going to cost us an extra 5 million, an extra 10 million this summer?
Yep.
Who cares? Get them in early, get it done. And
But that's what I like about Arsenal structure.
Yeah.
And I know some of my buddies probably watching that are Arsenal fans, and that's what I like about Arsenal structure with Adu being the director of football, who played with Arteta.
Yep.
Right. So they have a close bond relationship anyway, from the fact that they played together at Arsenal for so many years. But he's a footballing brain. He's a footballing director of football.
Everyone knows when you get stuff done right away, you usually get what you want.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, and this summer there was a lot of players up for grabs.
Yes.
And obviously we'll get to my club in a little bit, but that's one of the things that's driving me nuts at the moment. But
There are a lot of
Arsenal-
interesting options, I would say, between all the guys at Chelsea that were going to leave. You had all the U.S. men's national team guys at Leeds that were, getting relegated and going to leave, and Tyler Adams bounced around between Arsenal, Villa, West Ham, or whatever, rumors and such. But yeah, there were a lot of things that were in play.
let me ask you a quick question here. I agree. Arsenal are probably the front runners. What about Liverpool? Because Liverpool have signed McAllister. They got that done super early,
Right.
and at a great price. I mean, that was almost a ridiculous price. And then they just went and got Sabazle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that one right.
From
RB Leipzig.
RB Leipzig, yeah.
So that's a good signing from all accounts.
Yep.
I want to read you quickly that Hungarian, who scored 20 goals and provided 22 assists in the last 91 games since joining Leipzig in 2021. So they're getting their business done early.
Yeah.
That is a good signing. It looks like they may be in for one or two others. They let one or two go on loan with no options to buy. I think Liverpool are doing some good business. Danny, you mentioned Villa. Villa have got Yuri Tielemans in on a free, by the way.
Do Liverpool have a center forward? Don't they still need one?
No,
No.
I think they're set. I
No,
think
they're
they're set. They're
'Cause,
set.
I guess Klopp's never always needed a center forward because he has so much movement up front. You know, as long as the wingers and everyone's
Well,
good.
Bobby Firmino was brought in to do that, wasn't he? But he really played as a false nine.
It's a withdrawn
Yeah.
nine, yeah.
And now,
But Firmino's gone now.
and now we know Firmino's. Well, he's gone. He hasn't actually signed anywhere. There's rumors. This will get us into our next
MLS.
topic of there's MLS or
Real Madrid.
Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, I think because he hasn't signed anywhere yet, it's either going to be Barcelona or
I would
Real
love to
Madrid.
see Bobby Firmino at Barcelona.
I think it'd be a great signing,
You know.
because he's on a free, and that's
I would love
why.
it.
Yeah.
wow, Nate's making fun of you.
Yeah, of course he is. What now?
I would absolutely love it.
Yeah, the RB Leipzig guy. He said, "Wow, that's not how that name's pronounced. Only if there was someone who watched Bundesliga that was."
Sabazle? Sabazle. Nate, you can't pronounce your own name,
Yeah.
let alone other players'
Like
names.
the Moose Cup, but it's the Moses Cup.
He called. Yeah. Oh my word.
Holiest
all right,
cup of them all.
Before we go down, there's a big question that's kind of hanging over the group that I want to talk about. Is it a good thing, the amount of money and the Saudi Arabian league is brought in? I want to get to that because I think we have differing opinions. But let's get to some of the transfer rumors of Harry Kane. Harry Kane, I'm hearing that he's actually very interested in going to Bayern Munich.
He's not going to let this go, is he?
I'm hearing from Mauricio Romano.
He wants to be right though, but it was a good prediction for.
I think when the first.
Did you? No, sorry, Danny. Let me cut you off. You guys do remember when I predicted this, and you both looked at me like I had a third head.
Well, I was the one with Newcastle, and unfortunately, that's not on there.
That's not going to
but,
happen
you know.
right now.
He
But
just won't let it go, will he?
I'm just
This
reading.
is 2 months going on, by the way. This is 2 months of this stuff.
I was Pulisic last fall to AC Milan to play with
You did.
Zlatan. And
You called
yes,
that.
So you know,
And everybody said that was garbage. Because why
was.
would he go to that league? But now it's going to
exactly.
Mind you, he is 1-for-1 because on the very first time I was on the show,
Yeah.
he said Bellingham to Real Madrid.
Oh, he did. You're
Got
right.
it.
I actually
He is-
have. I have
he is
that
1-for-1.
documented.
He
I
is-
have
he
that
is 1-for-1.
documented that was back in November. I called that. I called that one in November, and everybody. There was a whole thread. Everybody called me nuts.
Yes.
Said before the World Cup started, I said this is what'll happen, and it was nuts.
I loved how he just wanted to go somewhere different and not just be somewhere comfortable. I think that's great from Bellingham.
Well, it also comes down to I can go to the Premier League and play, or I can go to Real Madrid.
and won a lot of
My
things.
God. Real Madrid have won 14 European Cups,
That-
and I mean,
that-
there's a different level.
That
Yeah.
specific transfer opens up something that I wanted to get to
Yeah.
with a transfer,
Yeah,
right?
to it.
Yep.
Tuchemeni,
Mhm.
right?
Oh.
So there's a rumor right now that because of
Yes.
Bellingham,
Yes.
you know, and the Camavinga,
And Tuchemeni
Cruz, and
freaking
Modric,
brilliant
and
player.
Tuchemeni is a very, very good player. Very good player.
Mhm.
There's rumors right now that he could be out the door.
Hmm.
So that throws in a whole different
yeah.
scope of clubs that would be after him. You got to think all the top clubs in England, Germany.
Top 10
Is he with
Yeah.
Madrid?
top 10 clubs
Huh?
in the world.
Is he with Madrid?
Oh yeah, he's
Okay.
with Madrid. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
And he's French midfielder.
Okay.
So agreed. It'd be interesting to see if he leaves or if he's convinced to stay, because I believe did I read Carlo Ancelotti has agreed to be the Brazilian
Yes.
head
Yes.
coach in
Not
a year.
this. Yes.
Not
So he's
after
gonna coach
after
for a
he
year
finishes contract.
and then leave. So
I think someone in our group, I heard someone predict that he was going to be the Brazil. Someone he said he'd be a good fit for that. So I'm interested to see how he.
I don't know if he's going to be a good fit, but it's interesting. All right, let's go back to, do we think that the Christian Pulisic to AC Milan, and apparently the rumor is from Mauricio Romano that Pulisic and AC Milan have already agreed personal terms. The only sticking point right now is the transfer fee. Chelsea bought him for £57 million, approximately $70 million, 5 years ago, whenever it was.
Yeah.
And now the transfer fee is set to be
They have
around
15?
25.
Oh, is it 25?
No, it's 25.
Okay.
And AC Milan don't even want to pay 25. I think that's horrendous. I think 25 is a cut rate deal. You should snap their hands off for 25 because look what he's done against Mexico. Look what he did against Canada. Look what he's done against some of the teams he's played against when he's come on for Chelsea. He's performed well. I think with the prices of the other players that we're all talking about, he's
a steal.
Right now,
that's a steal at 25.
25 million's a steal. I think it should be around 40 to 45. But do we think, one, the Serie A is a good place for Christian Pulisic?
No, because I think he's such an underrated player.
Agreed.
You know, I think, to be honest with you, I like him a lot, to be honest. I really did. I think the game that we were commenting on a couple of weeks ago against Mexico, and we were all talking in our group chat, he ran the game.
He did.
Absolutely ran the game from start to finish. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. When he was rumored to be leaving Chelsea last January, and it was this whole rumor that he might come to Man United, I was happy with that because I think he's a quality player. You know, incredible performances over for the US. You know, but I thought for sure that, you know, an Arsenal, a Newcastle, Spurs, even Liverpool would have been in for him. You know, and we're not. So, but Pulisic to Milan is an interesting one for sure.
It is. Brooks, I'll let you go ahead. Go ahead, Seth.
Just wasn't getting it done. I just think it was going to be a constant with it. Like once things go sour in a league, it runs rampant. It runs rancid through everyone, and everyone talks, and everyone's like, he's too like. That's the thing. That's always been that mo for Christian Pulisic. He's too soft. He's too soft.
He gets injured.
But he's so soft. He falls too much. That's always been the MO for Christian Pulisic.
Okay. Right.
And you can be tough in the Italian league, but you're not getting crushed all the time like you are in the EPL. He needs to go somewhere to regain confidence where he can easily score double-digit goals in Serie A. And it's good football. He's more of a tactical guy, all right? And, I think he'll do really well there. He needs confidence again. Yeah, maybe he has this good season or two. Maybe someone in the EPL wants to buy him back. I don't know. But that he needs that.
I don't like that he's going to the Serie A. I'm not a fan of the Serie A. I love the Premiership and how fast and physical and just, it's the top league in the world. That's where I want the U.S. men's national team captain to be. I think when you go to the Serie A, it's slower, it's more calculated, it's more defensive, it's more just chess match.
You get all that stuff in the other leagues.
I just think.
Oh my God.
I think it. And Brooks, hear me out here. I think it is actually a good place for him to go. I think he can score double digits. I think he'll look really well there. I just am going to miss seeing him in the Premiership and seeing what he could be. I think we're not going to see his full potential as a player. And also,
even if he does well in World Cup 2026, and if he leads us to like a Final Four or an Elite Eight,
I think. But here's the thing:
really,
we're not going to see him.
I think I care about if he led the U.S. men's. I care about what he does for the U.S. men's national team than he does what other club he plays for.
I get that.
I get it.
I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's an interesting one, but I don't think it's a bad one. I think it's a very interesting one because the game is obviously a lot slower, right? In Serie A, it's a lot slower.
It's just slower and more defensive.
It is. It's more tactical. But they gave Man City a good game.
Yeah.
Do they not do well in European competitions? They usually do.
I will say this.
I'm just saying.
I think Inter Milan gave Man City a very good game, but if that game is played like Real Madrid in the semifinals over a 2-game period, Man City just walk away with it. Man City come out and play a very good game in the first half and the second game, or the first game.
That's why I say all European things should be playoff style, because then it makes it super interesting. I don't like the 2-league stuff for me. It's like some team, they sit. I just don't like it.
Okay,
did we even get to the Harry Kane thing, or did you just bypass it and said, no, he's going to Boston? He's going to Bayern Munich? Did we even get to it?
We're just accepting it.
We just went past it, but let's get back to it.
I do want
your prediction.
He wants to speak about it.
I want your
100%
prediction.
want to speak about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so interesting.
All right, let me guess real quick.
No. I'm not for Manchester United here. I just want to lay out some facts.
Yeah, absolutely. You're good. Oh, I was gonna guess. There's 2 options. He either moves to Manchester United or he stays at Tottenham.
No, I've got an interesting one for you because. I've got an interesting one for it.
Go for it. You've got the spotlight, my friend.
He's not leaving Spurs to go to Bayern.
Okay.
That's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, if he leaves this year, it'll be to another Premier League club because that Premier League record that he's close to breaking is too close to walk away from.
Sure.
But
He's
But
hold on.
Okay, yep.
He's
I'm
29 years old.
Yeah.
He turns 30 on July 28th. 30.
Yep.
He's got 4 more seasons, maybe 5 left in the Premier League to get to those 48 goals.
Which he
Right.
could do in 2 if he really wants to.
He could do in 2,
Yeah.
no problem. Me personally, I don't think he's pushed for the move so much this time around because he doesn't want to go to Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
I think if somebody else came in for him that was a more enticing offer in the Premier League, he would push it. But I do see him staying at Spurs this year and securing his legacy there.
To see his.
I don't think he'll score the 48 goals at Spurs this next year.
No, not this
But
year.
I think he'll see out his final year of his contract.
Sure.
Because I don't think he's very happy with Daniel Levy either. Because he's had that promissory note, that a gentleman's handshake to saying, look, if a big club comes in for you, you can go.
Yeah.
And they've always pushed back on it. So I think he stays for a year, gets his 30-odd goals, leaves on a free next June to another Premier League club.
Interesting.
That's my prediction.
So I said he's pretty loyal to the club. He's pretty loyal to the fans, and he's always, I think
And that club he's going to next June is Manchester United. Just to say that.
Is that why they haven't bought a new striker in yet, and they've refused to look at one?
Well,
of the
we'll
big
get to that in a
strikers out
minute,
there?
but I do. That's my prediction. He stays for a year, runs his contract down, leaves.
Brooks, do you want to put a prediction, or do you want me to jump to mine?
I think
Come on,
he.
Brooks.
No, I think he does see out the contract. I agree with. I think he's very loyal to that club. Even though he may not like Daniel Levy, I think he's very loyal to the fans. He knows they pay money to see him play. I think he's very. He's not himself. He's not about himself. He's about the club and the fans. I think he goes. He gets close. Then he goes to Bayern. Plays for a couple years, wins some trophies, comes back,
Wow.
and gets the scoring title.
So he's gonna score 30+ goals this season, leave on a free,
No,
and
no,
go
no.
to Bayern with 18 goals left to break the record.
All right.
He's going to come back for
Nice
a year
try,
and then
Brooks.
win.
Nice try. But no, he's going to stay at Tottenham Hotspur. And
It's
then
so
he's
LeBron
going to sign a new
James-esque.
contract at Tottenham, and he stays at Tottenham. I think Daniel Levy has him wrapped around his finger. He's going to stay at Tottenham for the next couple of years. I think Ange Postecoglou is actually a very good coach. I think he will take them back into the Champions League next year. And I think Harry Kane sees out his career at Tottenham.
The only reason he says that, by the way, because if he does stay on a free, he just see out his contract, leaves on a free, and goes to Man United, his next 4 or 5 years is completely ruined.
I think, yes, you're right. We've said it before. But I don't think Daniel Levy sells to a club this year, a Premiership club this year. That's not happening. He's not selling. You could offer 150 million, and you're not getting Harry Kane.
Can I change my prediction?
After hearing mine, sure, go for it.
Okay. All right. So he finishes out the year, right? He leaves on a free to Bayern, and he comes back and breaks the record with Brighton.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, good Lord, Brooks.
What's
in that cup over there, mate?
Should we just
Water. Seagulls, seagulls, seagulls.
I got nothing. I got nothing over here. I got nothing. Oh, good Lord.
It's possible.
He's not leaving and coming back. I think he stays in the Premiership. I was on board with him leaving a couple of months ago, but with the new coach there, and I gotta be honest, part of it is me changing my mind on this. Bayern putting in such a stupid bid. Did they really think they were going to get Harry Kane for 70 million? That's not happening.
I don't know.
That's not happening. You know, he still has
Well,
four.
You don't try, Craig.
I don't know. It always amazes me, German clubs with transfers, they always seem to get the players for really low fees. And I don't know whether it's the fact that Premier League clubs sell into Premier League clubs put on a Premier League tax on top of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
it's always German,
forget, yeah.
German to Premier League or Premier League to German. There's always a lower premium on players.
You're not wrong. It's just I think it's that Premiership tax. Premiership team to Premiership team.
Apparently, I upset Nate with my predictions.
Oh, of course you did. Nate, go back to fighting bears. I don't know how your kids are doing right now, but you need to fight off those bears. And I don't know what do you do? Roast some pigs?
Spit?
The spit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, camping's not my thing, or it's not our thing here. All right, let's jump to some other rumors that are happening. Danny, I don't know if I caught you by surprise with the one earlier today, but it's probably because I mistyped. I was in the middle of spending a lot of money for things we won't talk about right now, but. Frankie de Jong is rumored to be of an interest to Man City. And you know how Man City do business. When all of a sudden there's smoke, there's fire, they usually end up getting their man. How do you feel about... I think, to be honest, I think he'd be a really good fit there.
Can we just not go down this saga again? Like, it's just... Frankie
old
de Jong
rules?
group
Is your heart still broken from the first time?
My heart's still broken from 12 months ago, first and foremost,
I'm
because it
sorry.
was just
I know.
3 months of just
Yeah.
rubbish.
I mean,
Absolute rubbish.
Yeah,
And
Barcelona needed to get rid of him, honestly, to help them with their finances, but they just couldn't do it.
I know we know City are in the market for one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they won't overpay for Declan Rice, so we know that they're in this. We know that they're in the market one, and I didn't understand the Declan Rice one to begin with, to be honest with you, because you're bringing in Declan Rice and Gundogan's going to Barcelona, and the two completely different players.
Absolutely. Do you think that it was to raise the price for Arsenal? Just to completely raise the price? Because there's no way Declan Rice is going to fit in at Man City with all the players they currently have.
Because I think David Moyes openly said in an interview on camera that he said that the boy will go for in excess of £100 million.
Yeah, he was.
So he was pretty adamant about that. West Ham had a price for him,
Yeah.
and he was going. So I don't think. I definitely didn't agree with the Declan Rice coming in and Gundogan going out. Now, Frankie de Jong coming in and Gundogan going out makes sense.
That makes sense.
It makes pure sense.
Like for like there.
Yeah, very like for like.
Absolutely.
But I don't think Barca want to sell him.
I don't think Barca want to sell him now, but everybody has their price. Everybody's got their price, and I think if the right price comes in, and we know City are willing to pay.
I even think the Kovacic signing from Chelsea is a very interesting signing.
He's a steady Eddie. Kovacic has his moments in games.
It's almost like you're replacing Calvin Phillips in a way.
Maybe the idea
he's
is
been
to
injured
sell
for so
Calvin
long?
Phillips.
Yeah.
Well, okay, hold on. I want to get to this. Hold on real quick. We've said this with almost every single player that gets to Man City or to a Pep coach team. It takes them 12 months to figure out how to integrate with the system, how to play. People looked at Jack Grealish last year and said, what a waste of money, £100 million for this man. He can't even play. He's on the ground. He doesn't do anything right. This year, he's looked like a completely different player. Without him, I don't think they complete the treble. Last year, Calvin Phillips, injured for a lot of the time, didn't get into a lot of games, probably still in training, figuring out what to do, how to make it work. This year, I think we will see him. I think we'll see him really start to get into games and really start to take over.
Pep called him fat, didn't he? Didn't Pep call him out?
Oh, he's done this before. Pep's done that before. That's how he motivates his players. That's how he motivates.
That shames
right?
him.
Yeah. He totally fat shamed him, I think.
Yeah.
When he come back from the World Cup, didn't he? Saying that Calvin Phillips was overweight or he didn't make weight or something like that.
Yeah. I do think the Frankie de Jong, where there's smoke, there's fire, I think he will. He could. I don't want to say he will, but I think he could end up at City, and I think he'd be a very good player in that system with the players around him. All right. Before we move on to Man United exclusively with Danny here, I do want to talk about some of the other U.S. men's national team players who are moving or rumored to move. Brendan Aronson, I think, is it Union Berlin? He is rumored right now to be moving to the Bundesliga. There's 3 teams interested.
Union Berlin just is with the rumor now.
I would love for him to actually stay at Leeds and fight his way into fight his way through the championship, because I think it would help him and I think it would help U.S. men's national team.
Such a wonderful player.
Oh, he's a good player.
Brendan Harrison, a really good player.
I think he's cut out for the championship. He's gritty.
Not athletic enough for England.
I don't know.
Really?
Really,
I thought he was absolutely brilliant under Bielsa.
I think his brother Paxton's a better player.
Yeah, but
Brandon was brought in for a specific reason at Leeds, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
His pressing style.
yes,
Yep.
yes,
100% athleticism.
which
and pressing
works
style.
in the championship.
Absolutely fantastic.
Works in the
player,
championship.
Yeah.
And it probably works just as well in the Bundesliga, but in the Premiership, not quite as much if you don't have the right tactic for him. I would love for him to. I think
would
it'd be
love
better
to
for him to
see
stay
him-
at the championship.
I would love to see him in Germany, playing for Union Berlin and competing for a Bundesliga title. I want to see him play against the big boys and at a level where he's
So me and Brooks are going to do a fist pump right now because
Yeah.
in my notes here, I would like to see him at Dortmund.
yeah, one of those teams,
All right.
Dortmund or
I'd like
whatever.
to see him in the Bundesliga.
Okay, there are 2 or 3 teams in the Bundesliga that we would do very well at.
Yeah.
But I think everybody
He'll play at Frankfurt with his brother.
undermines or underestimates the championship and what it can make of how it can make good players better.
It is. I mean, you could
He's
probably
still
throw.
young.
You could probably throw the top 3 championship teams in like another
And Leeds will be one of the top.
another first league in like Bundesliga or Eredivisie or whatever, and they could possibly win the
I
league.
do think they bounce back right away as well.
Sure.
I don't think they'll be down there for long.
Because now they have new owners,
Yeah.
and I think they're going to put money into it to try to get back to the Premiership.
Yeah, they'll bounce back pretty quickly as well.
And they've got the parachute payments as
American
well.
owners.
American owners,
Right.
yes. What about, all right, Tim Weah?
That was a good sign.
Really good signing.
Confirmed to Juventus. I think
Yeah,
that's a great
I
move
think
for
that's a
him.
great move for the kid.
Athlete, can do very well.
Yeah.
Very systematic player. I think that's a great move for him.
Musa is on.
I think he's signed with AC, right? Or he's going to.
He is about to. I believe AC
Yes.
Milan are after Yunus Musa.
Another good one. I
Another
want to
good-
see him and Pulisic play
I
together.
would love for them to link up there.
I think Olivier Giroud will be a very good mentor for both of them. I think Giroud's still at AC
Right.
Milan, right?
He is.
Yeah,
He
he
signed
is,
for
yeah.
another year. He signed
That's
for another
the-
year for tax reasons, by the way.
That's the player.
You really want to see an MLS.
Well, yes, but also he is the player that I think is a very good leader for young players because of he's just intelligent. I mean, he was never the most superior athlete, but he scored goals left and right with
It's always telling of a player,
Yeah.
a really top player. Whatever club he goes to, he makes them better.
Exactly.
And Giroud is wherever he's gone, he's made them better.
Exactly.
Yep, I agree. Just one a super smart player, and he scored one of the most famous scorpion kicks I've ever seen. So, but I 100% agree with both of you there. The other player, Zach Steffen. Manchester City have actually said you can leave if you find a team.
Leicester City's the.
Leicester City in the championship are the
I'm fine
ruling
with
club
that.
right now. I'm good
I'm
with
fine
that.
with that. What about McKennie's been linked to a few AC Milan and some different ones.
Well, you beat me to it, but here's the lead in. So Weston McKennie. Did you say? I'm sorry, Weston McKennie.
yeah,
Well, I'm
McKennie.
sorry. Where's he
Weston
been linked?
McKennie's. There's been links to AC Milan.
AC Milan just going full American, huh?
Yeah,
Americano.
yeah.
Okay.
Was there a German team he was maybe linked to as well?
Probably. It'd be interesting to see if he gets anywhere. Apologies. I thought you were going to link us with Tyler Adams. All right.
Oh,
Tyler,
yeah,
Tyler Adams has been linked with a host of teams because, as you heard Danny say, what a brilliant player when he's healthy. He hasn't had too many injury problems, but this year he did suffer through one. He's been linked with Villa. I don't think he gets to Villa. I think Villa are actually stacked in the midfield in his position. I don't think it works out well, although I wouldn't mind it if he joined us. That'd be great. The interesting topic we've had, the interesting team we've had the discussions with about Tyler Adams going to is Man United. So that's going to lead us into the Man United segment here for the show. Listen, Danny, does Tyler Adams actually fit in there? Or do you think if they put a couple of more pounds into a transfer, they can get someone a little bit better? Because I see him sitting on the bench most of the time if he goes to United.
He's good. He's a good player. I like him a lot, to be honest with you, just with the way that he anchored down that Leeds midfield and the way he played for the US in the World Cup. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think Manchester United's the place for him. I'd like to see him to go to a Brighton or a Villa or somebody like that.
I think I'm going to cut you off real quick. I think the Brighton is the best spot for him, and they have really been rumored in where there's smoke.
Seagulls.
Yeah,
Seagulls.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the rumor is
Need
still
a-
there with Manchester United, and you're going to say it's probably not the best spot for him because he's going to end up sitting the bench most of the time behind the current players they have for at least a year and a half. Right?
But Nate's argument was it was a good replacement for the Brazilian midfielder they have. that they just
Sabater's
got.
gone, but
The Brazilian
Fred.
midfielder.
Fred's,
Not Fred. Sorry. The guy they got from Real Madrid.
Casemiro.
Casemiro.
Well, Casemiro's not going anywhere. I mean, he's the
But
anchor
like
of that midfield.
eventually, when how old is Casemiro? 30 something.
He's 31, I think. Yeah.
he's still got another 2 or
He's
3
got a
years
2,
in the
3
league.
years
That's
left.
true. Yeah, good point.
So I don't
So-
see Tyler Adams going there. No, if Tusameni came on the market and United wanted to pair him with Casemiro and play a double pivot with either Fernandez or Mason Mount in front of him, then that would be a good midfield pairing because Fred is going out the door.
Fred's out the
You don't
door.
think
Did you
Tyler
say
Adams could play
Tuchemeni
double
to
pivot
Man
with
United?
Casemiro?
I think he could. I just don't think Man United's the place for him just yet.
Right.
Okay.
It's a little bit too big of a leap, in my opinion. Too big of a leap. Now let me make sure I hear you.
See, Adams is the one player for the men's that I want to stay in the Premier League because he's done it before. Statistically, he was one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League, having played whatever 20 plus games that were required to be in
right.
his stats.
Yeah.
That is the one guy.
But
along with probably Weston, that I'd say they could stick in the Premier League if they wanted to.
I don't know if the Premier League is right for Weston McKennie. I'm really.
If you
worried
just
about
ask
that
Weston,
one.
go kill people, that's fine. Seriously, like, just go destroy people. Run around, go
sounds
destroy
like Weston
people. We
McKennie.
can play through every once in a while. We don't need to just score goals. Like, that's fine. If he wants to be all technical and
that's
everything,
Brooks' non-tactical view,
Yes.
right?
we need people. We need
Go kill people.
Just go kill
Yes.
people.
we need midfield. There's so many midfielders nowadays. They're like, I don't want to defend or like, go, old school England, man. Go freaking kill people. Go through people.
Yeah. All right.
Cause chaos.
Let's talk about Manchester United. There's been a lot of stuff in the news the last couple of weeks. Danny, you are, I don't want to say in the know, but you know a little bit more than most people. You and I and the group have some really good Man United discussions. Everybody knows I hate Manchester United, so this is going to pay me. But let's go forward and let's do this for the next couple of minutes. All right, let's talk about Mason Mount. You and I think we're in the same boat here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you feel that maybe you overpaid just a little bit, but it's probably Premiership, top dog to top dog tax being put there, right?
Yeah, well, you look at Kovacic went to City for 25, 30 million pound, right? And he's in the last year of his contract, and Mason Mount's 55 plus 5 add-ons. You know, so we're paying a premium just because of the club who we are. You know, it's just
And that's the price you pay for being Man United.
Well,
you're paying Man United tax.
Mount's younger than Kovacic, right?
He is, yeah, but I mean, last year of his contract, that's a lot of money to play on.
I was about to
is.
say, you nailed it. He had 1 year left on his contract, so 55 million.
But what a signing! I mean,
He's a good player. He's a good player.
Very, very
Where
good
does he
player.
fit in? Who does he replace? Eriksson?
I think so.
Because Eriksson for me in
think so.
the first half of the year, I would say the first 5 months of the year last year was the standout player besides De Gea on that Man United
Well,
team.
when he got hurt, he got scissored by
It's
Andy Carroll.
unfortunate. Yeah,
You
which
know,
is
he got
terrible.
scissored by Andy Carroll and got injured. And up until that point, he
Nobody likes Andy Carroll, by the way.
No.
Nobody.
Who's he
I
playing
haven't
for?
met a single person who likes Andy Carroll.
Who's Andy Carroll playing for?
Reading.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
an FA Cup.
He
It was
went-
an FA Cup game.
Yeah.
By the way, it wasn't even a yellow.
I liked Andy Carroll when he played for Liverpool
No, boo to you. Boo to that man. I wish I had a boo. I wish I had a boo thing.
because he
here.
went and killed
You know what?
people.
That's what you get for that. Nobody likes Andy Carroll. Oh, there's a very nice
He
family
took
man.
no one's crap, Craig, and he was like, "Get out of my freaking way! I'm gonna kill you if you don't."
All right. Anyway, yes,
You know?
he was.
So I think
Yes.
I think at home, and this is what interests me about Tchouaméni, right? This is what interests me about Casado, right? If we go down that path.
Yeah, Casado, right? Yeah.
What interests me is if you look at our home form, you look at Manchester United's home form last year, it wasn't the problem. You know, it really wasn't the problem. Most games at home we played with Casemiro as the holding deepest player, and then Eriksson and Fernandes, right? You know, that was our midfield three. So I think Eriksson comes out of that and Mount comes into that, and that's the midfield three that we play at home. Away from home, I don't think Casemiro's defensively disciplined enough. The way that we attack, I would like to see a double pivot. I would like to see two central midfielders in the midfield for Manchester United, and that's why Tchouaméni comes into the argument, or Casado comes into the argument.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm hearing that. So this is going to be weird. Qatar is up 1-0 on Mexico right now.
Wow.
All that money.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Danny, but that just took me by surprise there. Thank you for D. Neal. That's done.
Done.
Done. Okay, done.
Done.
Thanks, done.
so
Sorry.
why-
Go ahead, Danny. Sorry, apologies for that.
Why is it so different away? I mean, I get like when you play in away venues, like its atmosphere is different. and
I
whatnot.
think if you look at our away form, you know, last year, I think that, you know, especially at some grounds like you go to Liverpool and it's an absolute cauldron. You go to City and it's a very difficult
Liverpool's
place
one of the
to go.
smaller fields, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're very difficult places to go. We even saw that against Newcastle. You know, away from home is a very difficult place to go. So,
Yeah.
you know, to have that assurance, and I don't necessarily think that we have the perfect centre back pairing that he wants yet to be able to play so freely away from home.
Sure.
You know, Martinez obviously a great player. You know, but I would like to see somebody come in.
I think Martinez is a stopgap right now. I think Varane is the player that will be steady there, and I think he's looking for a center back like the Napoli center back to bring in to pair with Varane, and Martinez would be your away from home center back who can go out and bark and bite like a little dog. But I think you nailed it.
Martinez is also a multifunctional player.
Yeah.
He played holding centre mid for Ajax, and he played on the left for his country.
Let me ask you this question. On the left, yes. Do you see him playing as a holding center back in the midfield in the Premiership?
No, but he can play there.
Yeah.
I don't see him playing there for Manchester United. But then again,
if needed.
Then again, the skeptics like Jamie Carragher and some other players, some other pundits in English football said that he was too small to be a centre back, and we all know that that was a myth that was blown out the water. Because he won most of his aerial duels. So
always those guys.
if
you're an athlete, doesn't matter how. Miles Robinson to Manchester United.
So Martinez was just incredible, but
Chris Richards.
No. Chris Richards needs to stay at Palace.
Yeah.
All right, Danny. Listen, let me switch back to the camera. Sorry. There's a lot of things going on in Man United. One of the big ones right now, as we've talked about many times, is the takeover. It hasn't happened. There's two bidders. Sheikh Hassim. I forget his name.
Sheikh Jassim Al Thani.
That's it. And then you've got Jim and Sir Jim.
Well, I'm just calling him Jim Ratcliffe right now because
he was knighted.
He wants to keep the. He was, yeah.
I've read. I did a lot of reading today. I don't want to get into it about the Qatari Saudi Arabia bid that's coming in. I don't want to get into that right now. But obviously, the takeover is what is hindering a lot of these transfers. I think you were able to get the Mason Mount transfer over the line because it's not exactly a lot of money, and the Glazers said we will probably just add this in if the sale of the club goes through. But I think it's hindering the sale of the center forward that you absolutely need. You absolutely need the sale of the center forward, and I think it's hindering what's going on with David De Gea. We'll talk about that. There's a big, I don't say argument, but discussion in the Facebook group about that. Let's get to the takeover, though. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to happen? What are you hearing? What are your? I don't want to hear your. Oh my gosh! I hope this happens.
No,
it's what's realistic.
No, I think something's definitely happening, and I do believe it's Qatar.
Yeah.
I do believe it's Qatar, and there's certain outlets in the US, financial outlets that are connected to the New York Stock Exchange, that are connected to the Rain Group that are conducting the sale.
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg and Reuters are throwing out. And
Very neutral source. I would trust them.
Very neutral sources, but they are absolutely 100% most of the time spot on with anything that they do release. So, I would say that, that, and then they've even said that, Sheikh Jassim has gone ahead. So me personally, a couple of weeks ago, I think I sent it to you guys. Oh, it's last week. I sent it to you guys in the group chat that Sheikh Jassim had created the 92 Foundation as a business entity in London, which is where the offices were brought in, a couple of months ago. So you can start to connect the dots a little bit.
Yep.
I do see that happening. I do see it going through. When? I don't know.
It could be tomorrow. It could be next month. It could be next year. The Athletic has a very nice article on Sheikh Jassim and the 92 Foundation. I would say, again, I don't want to get into it too much. I will, if you don't have access to the Athletic, Danny, I will give you my access. The grass isn't always greener. I know everybody wants that Saudi Arabian money. He doesn't seem, I want to be careful with my words because there could be a red, laser that pointed at me very soon here.
Nate says he feels Qatari right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he does. But it seems that, let me put it this way. Aston Villa several years ago wanted to get rid of, we all wanted the owner to sell, and he sold to a man named Dr. Tony, and we all went, hell yeah, this is great. And then it was found out the man was an idiot, and his money was stolen, and he did the wrong things. He put the wrong people in place, and we couldn't go back. He actually set us back 4 years as a club, and the new owners came in, and it has taken them this long that I think we are finally out of the shadow of Dr. Tony, who was a Chinese businessman who was a fake, who put the wrong people in charge, and really, he almost took our club in the wrong. It almost destroyed the club.
You don't trust the Chinese.
It can't be any worse than what the Glazers have done over the past 18 years, buddy.
But here's the thing: the Glazers have.
At least they're still in business.
They're still in business. You are still spending hundreds of millions of pounds on players. You are still in the Champions League. They still have backed the Glazers. It could be far worse. Trust me. And after reading, and again, I know, listen, you and Nate are very big Man United fans. You know I don't like the club, but I do try to be very partial when I say this, when I talk about Man United. I would be very worried that the Sheikh Jassim has the wrong. He hasn't visited Old Trafford. He sent his top officials to do the walkthrough when the bid was handing over. He has not really been involved. What I've heard is he likes nice things, and he's been a Man United fan for a while. Again, I could be very wrong, and what could happen is
Man United fan.
Exactly, Man United fan. But I could be very wrong, and he just says, "I have all the money in the world. I don't care. Go ahead and push, and do what." And again, and I'm here. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you the retort to my argument here. Man City. Who are the Man City owners? How many times have they visited or actually watched in person a Man City game?
Like twice, weren't they the Champions League and then something else?
I think it's again it's agree to disagree sort of situation because
I have no dog in the fight, but I do want to say from personal experience, it could go south.
It could
go south.
I mean, it could, but
To me, with these guys with oil money, it's just another thing for them to play with. That's how I look at it.
I think what's different about him, and this is where I come back with my rebuttal, is that we all know, and it's well documented, that he's a Man United fan, and he has been since he was a young kid. Because they are global.
Mm-hmm.
They are very, very global.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been a Manchester United fan for a long time, and I'd like to reserve judgment on that, obviously, because of the fact that the Monsors that took over Man City they weren't fans. They took over the club.
They just wanted to get into
they just wanted
soccer,
to get into
and
soccer.
they had money and they wanted to do something with
So
it.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be a bad thing. But to be honest with you, and I will say this, and we don't need to talk about it anymore until it actually happens, but it is draining the life's blood out of me.
I think all Man U fans it is because they're tired of being stuck in the middle of decisions.
I just want it done.
They want direction.
I just want it done. I want it over with. And it would be nice if somebody at the club, and if anybody's watching this show, I hope you are, but it would be nice if somebody could come out in the club and just speak to the fans and just say, look, things are moving well behind the scenes. We're waiting for whatever to happen, financials to be agreed upon, promise notes, money in bank accounts, whatever it is to make us feel that, we're a little bit a part of the process, because at the end of the day, without the Manchester United fans, there is no football club, just like every other.
It's like,
Absolutely, 100%.
But that's the scary part. I'm going to close this with people with money, is that the fans become more irrelevant when they don't have to make up for all this stuff, you know what I mean? And they can replace you with jersey sales and merchant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
That's the scary part. It's clubs you see it in America with a lot of stuff, and not just MLS and other stuff, but it's scary when, you as the fan especially in Europe where they've had such a big part in play in the club, that it's just gone a different direction, and your word is not heard anymore.
It's funny when clubs here in America get taken over. It's your football team or your baseball team or your MLS team gets taken over by a new owner. You go, oh great, okay, cool. So a new owner came in, great.
Yep.
It's
the world for Europe.
It's completely different when your soccer team, English Premier League team or any league in Europe team gets taken over, because you go, well, do they have the best interest at heart? How much money do they have? Are they going to put money back in the club? Are they going to buy players?
Yep.
It is. Are we going to get relegated? There's a lot to it. So
it's like you want to see the 5-year plan right from them before they buy the club.
But it's like politics.
Yeah.
It's like politics. Do you believe it?
Correct.
Do you believe it?
Yeah. Fair enough.
We could talk about this all day.
Are you going to meet your cousin soon?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we might have to. No, I don't know if this man is claiming to be my cousin. He's claiming to be my cousin. We will see.
I'm sorry.
We will see. Yeah. Listen, we'll get to that. All right. I think, Danny, I know you had some notes. Did you have any rumors, transfers, things you wanted to put on? Are we good to go on to the next time? I don't want to move on without,
The rumors, I mean, we've talked about a lot of them, right? But obviously the David De Gea situation is a glaring one. He's out of contract right now. He just got married over the weekend. Congratulations, David.
Did he really? I did not know that.
He did.
Nice.
He just got married over the weekend.
Silly him.
Right. If the rumors are true about the fact that he's agreed a contract with them, a reduced contract, a reduced amount of money, and then they've yanked it from under his feet towards the end of the season after the FA Cup final performance. I'll be disappointed if that's the way it's been handled. I know those 100%. Are the rumors right now, but I'll be disappointed if that's the way it's been handled, because we don't do that. Manchester United don't do that to their players.
Yep.
You know, I'd be really, really upset if that's happened. And at that point, I would encourage him to move on
Back to
And
Atletico.
back to Atletico. Yeah, probably. I mean, if Diego Simeone wants him, but I do think it's time for him to move on. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you say that it's time for him to move on because you want Onana, or
Oh, no.
I want whatever suits Ten Hag's playing style, and
Okay.
it's clear that De Gea's feet
is not it?
is not it.
Yep.
You know, and
Onana was at Ajax with Ten Hag.
Okay,
He
so
trusts him.
I
It
do want-
makes sense.
We did have a conversation about this. Okay, so there's been several Facebook group threads about this. We've had several conversations in our text message thread. Listen, Danny, I'm buying into what you're selling about what the club did. That they did put a contract in front of De Gea. He signed it, and then as soon as it was their turn to sign, they said, "Ooh, yeah, that some of those mistakes you made, we're regretting this, and we may not sign it." 100% deplorable. But, and I'll say it again, I'll say it 100 times, every club has done this. It is a horrible thing to do, and the club and the fans should be just disgusted. The player and the fans should be disgusted that this has happened. I think De Gea saved 3, 4, maybe even 5 games last year for De Gea was by far one of the best players in the club last year. Did he not win Player of the Year?
he's been a legend for 12 years.
Yeah,
He won
he's
Player
been
of the
there
Year 4 times.
He saved games. I think you made the FA Cup final. You made the Champions League places because of De Gea. I think he deserves better. You put a contract in front of him and he signs it, you better sign it back. I think it's disgusting they didn't sign it, if it is true. But every club makes mistakes. Erik ten Hag is probably the person in charge of this. Now, maybe he figured out that Onana, player who has worked with at Ajax, has become available. I gotta be honest, I don't think Onana makes it in the Premiership. I think he's going to be a flash in the pan, and I don't think he has what it takes to make it in the Premiership. I think he's an unorthodox keeper. Yes, he's got good feet, but I'm sorry.
Unorthodox sometimes wins
entertaining.
matches.
I do.
He's
I'm gonna.
entertaining though, right?
Huh?
He's entertaining.
He's entertaining, but
He's entertaining.
I know.
But I don't-
Unorthodox keepers win you matches when you go away from the norm.
tell me
I
an
mean-
unorthodox keeper in the Premiership that has been there for several years and has been named.
I think Ederson's
player
pretty
for-
unorthodox.
Edison was the same.
Anderson's pretty unorthodox. He's really good with his feet. He does some crazy things off his line a little bit, but
If you take that statement out of the equation, unorthodox, right, and you look at him as a player,
Yeah.
and you look at the identity that he's trying to build at Manchester United, right,
Yeah, yeah,
from building from the back,
Yeah.
it fits.
does. He
It
can
fits.
break
He's not
lines.
the be- he's
He's
not-
good distribution.
Is he a better shot stopper than David De Gea? No.
But that's because
No.
but also the back line in front of him has improved at Ederson as well, in front of Ederson, and then also the pressing style of them.
David
well
De
back.
Gea's
Absolutely.
But that's what Pep
style
Guardiola
is-
knows.
is
That's what he
a little
needs.
bit unorthodox, and he's not very good with his feet, but he has the quickest reactions in the Premiership, in my opinion.
Oh, he's a top goalkeeper. There's
Oh,
no,
yeah.
there's no two ways about that. But I think again, we're talking about progression, right? We're talking about
Mm-hmm.
evolving. And Sir Alex was the best at this. He
Yes.
really was the best at this. When he found a player that wasn't contributing to the style of play or the way that he wanted them to play,
Shipped
he
them out.
shipped him out.
Yep.
Did the same thing with Beckham. He did it with Van Nistelrooy. He did it with Keane. He did it back in '92 with Mark Hughes, Paul Ince, and several others at that time. I trust him. I trust the manager. I really do. Onana is different, but he gives Ten Hag what he needs.
Yep.
I think
Keeper that can play out of the back
Yeah.
so they can fit his style. And then, it's dangerous when you have a keeper that can break lines like that and distribute. It just adds something to the game and can play off
But-
his line.
But the amount of times that De Gea had to get down and make saves and just reactionary saves in the past year, I think is what got Manchester United into the Champions League final places.
That's why you put more pressure on their back line that says this
I
guy's not the
think-
shot stopper, but you
I-
guys need to block shots ahead of him.
I don't think they have in place right now the back line consistently to put a player like Onana in place. I think you will.
No, they need another centre back. If you're gonna bring in Onana, you need another centre back.
Correct.
You need a strong centre back.
And you need another
the
mid to
thing-
go with
here's-
Casemiro, like we talked about.
But here's the thing about Onana. If you sign Onana as a goalkeeper, Harry Maguire is out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Onana, what you get is not only somebody good with their feet, but Onana can push that that back line now can play high.
Yes.
Very high.
Because he can sweep.
He can sweep. He comes out, sweeps 20, 30 yards outside his goal.
I think
he
it's
can
hard to
sweep.
play against Bayern because Manuel Neuer can sweep.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I'll agree with you, but I also think, and again, you gotta have to say that I'm trying to look at this objectively. I think it'd be the downfall of Erik ten Hag in the Premiership if he brings in Onana. I think you give it another 2 years, and they'll miss out on Champions League, and all of a sudden, I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's Man United quality.
we're going to find out.
We'll find
Yeah,
out.
we'll find out
We'll
if it
find
goes
out.
through. All right. Lots to look forward to, as always, with the We Are Soccer discussions we have. All right. So, listen, guys. It happened last week. We've become very large.
We're going 2 hours straight, no break?
No break. Why not? Just go straight through. Listen, we've become so popular on the YouTubes, as we have seen, that I keep getting submissions for people who think they are my family members. I don't know where this crap comes from. I don't know why you people think you're my family member. I have done the family tree. I don't know where this is. We got another submission, but it's so funny I got to show everybody. So this guy is claiming to be my cousin. Again, I don't see it. I'm not seeing it. Just like last week, Paolo, you may have the last name, but no. This guy, boys, I'm going to show you the video. I don't get it. We'll be back after this video, so take a look for this guy. Here we go. Yo, bro, what up, man? This is Larry Hearn. I found you and your soccer bros on the YouTubes. And like, bro, we have the same last name. So guess what, man? I did one of those 23andMe tests. And bro, you and me were like second cousins. How freaking cool is that? You should come and visit me in San Diego sometime, man. Surfing and soccer. Yeah, surfing and soccer, bro. They go together like pizza and beer. Man, I tell you what, how awesome would that be if you came and visited me? All right, bro, I got a joke for you. What do you call a surfer who just broke up with his girlfriend? Homeless. Oh, man, is that funny? But so true. Anyway, listen, man, hit me up. Let's hook up and go pick up some chicks, and then we can hang out, play soccer, and surf. All right, bro. Peace.
Clock down and went,
Yeah, listen.
we're powering through, baby. Let's just go for it.
I don't know where Larry has come from. Apparently, he's in San Diego. He thinks he's done a 23 or what is it? The 23andMe test, and he thinks we're related. No. I'm not seeing it. He's not quite as good looking as me, so
Do blondes run in your family?
No, they don't.
What about surfers?
Yeah, surfers. No, because you know what? Everybody in my family tree is in England, and you know how the surfing in England goes, Danny. Not too well. But Larry, thank you for the video. But no, you know what? I may actually visit San Diego. Beautiful place. Been there before, and I do.
What about the South Africa side of your family?
Yeah, no.
All right.
Nothing there either.
Well, I mean, that could be where the surfing's from, though.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe.
We're going deep, Craig. We're going deep.
There's
here.
a lot to be explored and talked about there.
Yeah.
All right, boys and girls, we've still got a little bit to go. We're going to talk MLS. We're going to talk NWSL, but for now, we're going to jump away to a 2-minute break. We're going to show you next level training and Soccer World. Thank you to our sponsors and partners. Thank you so much for supporting us here at We Are Soccer. Soccer World. SoccerWorld.net is where you can pick up all your soccer gear needs, and Next Level Training, some of the best trainers in the country. That's why U.S. men's national team players and some of the best players in the NWSL come here to train in Michigan. It's because of Next Level Training. We will be right back, boys and girls.
Tempo, yes, drop out, good. Yes, touch play, right foot, yes. Scan, good. Touch in, play, drop your hip, right, yes, good scan. Yes. Jay, well done. Get side on touch. Play, see it, see it, see it. Yes.
All right, Brooks, we're at our favorite store, Soccer World in Rochester. We're just gonna do some light shopping. Okay. Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too?
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
South America. Ooh, wow, that's not MLS. Cool.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump.
Next in line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin. You know that.
Huh?
It's a mannequin.
Oh. Sorry, sir.
Hug, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all joining us. Lots to get to. We've got a question that we're going to ask. Is the Saudi Arabian money that's infiltrating the sport, is it good? Is it bad? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? We've got some different differing opinions here. We're going to talk MLS, the standings. There's been some banging goals have been scored in the last couple of weeks on MLS. It's incredible. We're going to show you the NWSL standings. Don't forget that the World Cup for the women starts July 20th. We are actually going to be, I think it's Friday, July 21st, 9 p.m. We are out at Dog and Pony Show. We are going to watch the first game for the Women's World Cup. It's U.S. women's national team playing there. I forget who they play against, though. And then to end up the show today, we're gonna do some funny comments on one of the threads that came in. Man, some of the comments I was for lack of a better term, I was peeing my pants watching, listening, and reading those comments. All right, so listen, Saudi Arabia has obviously infiltrated a lot of sports. They came with golf first. Second is soccer. Here is what they're doing. They're just buying players. They have 4 or 5 teams that are in Saudi Arabian League. They've invested money. They are buying players. They've bought Benzema. They bought Ronaldo, as we know. N'Golo Kante has gone over. There's several other players that are on the move, we believe. David De Gea has a big offer from Saudi Arabia. We'll see if that happens. There are a lot of players that are heading over to Saudi Arabia. Now, is this a good thing for the sport? Is it a good thing for the players? You know, Danny, I know you've got an interesting viewpoint. You and I swapped some text over the past week.
Yeah.
16 teams in that league, by the way.
Yeah, 16 teams. And I've never heard of any of those teams. I've never watched any of those games. But what are your thoughts, man? Is it good for the sport? What's going on here?
I think off the back of the World Cup, it was a good thing, right? You know, I just want to touch on a couple of players because, you know, maybe we can kind of start there and kind of build into it. But Benzema you can somewhat understand. 35 years old, he's won everything, has the opportunity for a payday, all that type of stuff. Conte, Kaloubi, Mendy, all from Chelsea. We know they're trying to offload players, but 31 and 32 years old. So still really in the prime. The ones I don't understand are Ruben Neves, which is a surprise for me at 26 years old. And if the Bernardo Silva thing goes through, still in his prime, he's just won 3 trophies at Man City, 28 years old. Now, from a pure footballing standpoint, trophies, competition level, prestige, I don't understand and likely never will with that sort of switch to the Saudi Arabia League. However, I will say it's been mentioned that faith has played a huge part in some of those players' decisions to go and play in Saudi Arabia, and Benzema was one of them.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think we've really heard much or talked much about that. That's a great point.
Yeah, he came out and made a comment. Being Muslim is very important to me, and as someone that's approaching my twilight in the game, the opportunity to experience and live in a Muslim nation with my family is something that I would like to do. And really, to be honest with you, you've got to respect and support that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're looking at it from a sense of look at all these top players go into this league that's really new, and they're throwing a bunch of money at it, but we're not looking at it from the humanistic standpoint either.
I liked Koulibaly, is that what?
Kaloubi, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Koulibaly, yeah.
I like that he wanted to use the money to send back to Senegal to do good things with that. I like that.
Yeah, you nailed it with him and N'Golo Kante. They said, listen, the amount of money that I'm being paid, I can take this money and send it back to my
do good
and build schools and hospitals and
just like what Sadio Mane does.
Yeah,
exactly. And at that point you go, I get it. I absolutely get it.
Yep.
But you also look and say, Ronaldo? Now, Ronaldo might be a little bit of a different case because he was coming into his career. Did a lot of teams and clubs want him?
No.
Probably not. Did he take a payday? Yes. He wanted to play at the top level, but nobody really wanted to deal with him and his, what.
I mean, selfishly, and everybody knows it's well documented how much I love Ronaldo, right? It's what being a Man United fan, I love him. I think Ronaldo went there to make the same impact on the Saudi Arabia League that Beckham made at MLS.
I could see that.
And the money helps, obviously, but the guy's filthy rich. He doesn't need the money, right? I think he did it to make a statement to go there. We all know that Messi was going to end up at Inter Miami in the MLS. We all knew that.
I called that one too.
We all knew that, but
you did.
But Ronaldo selfishly, I think, went there to make the league. Hey, I'm Cristiano Ronaldo. Put the league on my back, and I'll take you places, just like Beckham did with MLS.
Tough part is you take them places in the big European competitions. You know what I mean? That's the tough part.
So let me ask.
That's like we can all say MLS has improved, but
isn't the Club World Cup expanding to 32 teams now? Does it include Saudi Arabia's champions?
It does. I believe it does.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, like, the Club World Cup unfortunately is not seen, and they're trying to grow it as a bigger competition, and unfortunately, it's not. But I mean, it's a good for Saudi Arabia MLS teams. Lower league teams. That maybe don't all compete in Champions League or don't really get there, to showcase their talent. That's the important part. But
are you, no matter who goes there, let's say De Gea goes there, all these other players go there, and they form some good teams, and the league's doing all right, are you getting up in the middle of the night to watch the Saudi Arabian League? Are you getting up to watch any of those players, any of those teams? Because I know I'm not. There's one team in the world that I will wake up super early or wake up in the middle of the night to watch, and that's the club I've grown up on, and that's Aston Villa. Am I getting up to watch, name an Aston Villa legend, currently a brilliant player who then all of a sudden takes the money and goes there?
I thought you were going to say you're going to watch the A-League. You're going to get up for.
No, I don't get up for that. No, I don't get up for that. No, I mean, I'll get up early
the
to watch
J-League.
the Villa, but
I get up and watch the J-League.
You garbage, you do
No, you
that.
don't. No, you don't, Brooks.
Shit.
We got a button over there that's the bullshit button.
Yeah, I got to plug that in.
You guys in the group thread, you asked me what.
No,
You asked me what my favorite teams were, and I listed the J-League, A-League teams. Come on now. Did you miss that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting up. I'm not
Hey,
getting up
Shinji
in the early
Kagawa
morning to
was a good
watch
player
this.
for
They
Man
can
United.
build the league all they want, but they're not.
Plays in J-League.
It would take 20 years to get that league to anywhere close to the Premiership. Anywhere close.
Yeah.
It's just not happening anytime soon, in my opinion. And I'm not getting up early. I don't have a team over there. Yes, I have a team that I like to support in the La Liga or Serie A or the Eredivisie or the Bundesliga. I have a team that I like to
Or MLS.
follow, or who? The what? I'm
Or
sorry.
MLS.
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 MLS, yes. Obviously, I've got a team or two, yes. But I don't have a Saudi Arabian team, and it's nothing against Saudi Arabia, but I didn't know they had a freaking league until last year.
I mean, to be fair,
Qatar just started a league too.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, this Saudi Arabia, when Ronaldo went there, I thought, I'll catch the highlights and all that sort of stuff. I haven't even seen one of his goals, because it's just so far off the radar.
Yep.
It is. But
when you have no connection with something, it's really difficult, and it's not easy to get access to. I mean, like, listen, MLS right now, Apple TV. Everyone's got an iPhone. Everyone has access to it. You can find it.
Yeah.
Where do you find the Saudi Arabian League?
Great question, and somewhere on YouTube. I have actually seen, I think he scored 2 goals in one of his first several games, Danny. And
It was a PK.
One of them was a PK, but he scored another goal, and he celebrated it, did his whatever you want to call that, right? And then they showed, they did a close-up on the goalie, and they went, that man looks like Ronald McDonald with black hair. And he doesn't look like an athlete? Does he even have... I think he might be standing on one leg. Oh, my word. Where do they get these guys?
You sure it wasn't Grimace?
Yeah, I mean, this man was... when he turned
Hamburglar?
When he turned sideways... I'm pretty sure he disappeared. And as a goalie, that is not good.
No.
Again, I'm not tuning in to watch this league. I'm not even, like Danny, I'm not even tuning in to watch
to be
highlights.
Fair, doesn't Saudi Arabia have a decent national team? They've made the World Cup a few times, haven't they?
They have.
They have, yeah.
They have.
Yeah, didn't they had a decent... Didn't they play... They had a decent World Cup in no, Qatar. It was Qatar, wasn't it?
In 18. Did they have... yeah.
In this last World Cup, it was Qatar.
Because they beat Argentina.
Yeah.
In the first game. Yeah. But they didn't make it out of the group stage, but I think there was one.
Saudi Arabia do have one as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just not very good.
True.
But maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're all looking at this wrong. Maybe we think they're trying to build up their league, but what they're actually trying to do is build up their league to make their current national team players better. So in the coming years, and then
sounds very much what America is doing.
Yeah, 2030. Aren't they bidding for that? 2034. They're bidding for the World Cup.
I think so.
And if they're bidding for it, they'll probably get it. Let's be honest. Yeah. And England doesn't deserve a World Cup ever again. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the transportation. They don't have the stadiums or a decent league. So they definitely don't deserve. The World Cup.
We have all those things and more.
Oh wait. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about all that.
Has Africa ever hosted a World Cup?
2010.
Oh, South Africa, correct, yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm generally interested.
Which country that we think would be interesting that hasn't hosted one before?
That's a good question.
World
Danny, finish your thought there.
I'm very, very interested in how we're going to take We Are Soccer Show on the road during the World Cup and do shows on the road.
Ooh, hey, now you're talking.
The next World Cup
you're
for
talking.
them?
2026.
2026, USA, Mexico, Canada.
Ooh. So
on the road.
There was a small thought that I was going to do some stuff with the Copa or the
Is Luxembourg big enough to host?
Stuff this year, but I didn't. Copa America might be, we might have to follow that a little bit because that's here.
Yes.
And don't forget in 2025, as you mentioned earlier, Club World Cup is here.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff coming to America.
When Aston Villa in the Club World Cup, we will follow them there.
This is huge, and I think USL and MLS know this. All these competitions coming to the United States is huge for soccer in this country. Like, this can propel
soccer in this country is not growing at all. It's not going to do very well.
You sarcastic jerk.
I loved hearing that 10 years ago from people.
I know,
said, yeah, you're right. The sport sucks. It's never going to grow. Now, I mean,
now it's the most played youth sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
crazy. It's taking over television.
That and lacrosse are huge sports that are growing.
Oh, you and your lacrosse.
I like lacrosse.
You know, we got
coach at a school that's very good at lacrosse.
I got into this studio an hour early today, and Brooks is just, all he's doing is talking about lacrosse and this and that.
It was the World Championships. It was awesome.
Brooks is a closet Brother Rice lacrosse fan.
I went to St. Mary's, so I can't be a Brother Rice supporter. I'm sorry.
These are schools here in Michigan. I went to public school.
I did, to be fair, when Sergio Perkovic the Brother Rice alum, played at Notre Dame, and he also plays in the PLL. I did watch, I do root for him because he's a Michigan guy. So to be fair,
He's dropping names like we should know who
I know. I
people
was
are.
completely mesmerized just for a second there. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, Brooks, I'm mesmerized by you.
I know.
All right, let's finish out the segment on Saudi Arabia. I don't see it stopping. I got to be honest. There will be more transfers. There will be more players. But right now, as Danny said, they're kind of the older towards the end of their career. But I think once they start to get those younger players, mid 20s and early 20s, that's when it'll really change the evolution of their league and what we think about it. And I do wonder if them doing this is going to hurt the MLS and how long it's going to take for it to really hurt the MLS. You have your hands up, Brooke.
I do. So Don asked the question.
Ooh, I love questions.
With all these competitions coming to MLS, coming to America, do you think MLS will expand after 2026? So 30 is where they're stopping at, San Diego being the 30th team. Do we think there may be 32, 34? What do we think?
Can we just get one in Detroit? I just want one in Detroit.
Same here.
I know.
Same here.
I just want one in Detroit that we can all go and support.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because I do actually think it'd take off.
Do you know how great international games would do here?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, with the melting pot of different ethnicities.
You
we
realize
have
Crystal
here.
Palace are playing Sevilla right down the road in 3 weeks, right?
It's in a baseball stadium, Craig. Come on.
Where else are they going to play right now?
Stick it in Ford Field.
You
Could.
can't- I don't think they're going to sell out Ford Field for 65,000. And
Maybe just make a pitch
It is
somewhere. Maybe we
actually
just need
big
to
enough.
create a
It is
pitch
actually big
somewhere,
enough.
like Field of Dreams style. We just create
Field
some.
of Dreams style
Yes.
in the middle of. We don't have farm fields here. What are they do in the middle of the ghetto? Just all of a sudden.
I mean,
and-
you know,
I
the,
do want an MLS team as well.
the
To answer,
fairgrounds.
to answer Don though, I don't necessarily think that it's going to increase the capacity of teams in the MLS. I think that'll be done on merit, and the league.
Yeah.
What they've done, I will give them a lot of props for this, right? Because they've made inroads where the NWSL didn't early on.
Yeah.
Is they didn't grow too fast, too quick.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You know, they've methodically grown.
Yeah.
You know, and the MLS, and I'll openly admit this, I'm not being offensive, Brooks, when I say this, is that it was very, very difficult for me to watch 3-4 years ago.
Sure. No, that's fair.
But now I can watch those games and I get excited by them.
Yep.
You know, and I actually enjoy watching some of those
That's
games.
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I'm going to disagree with you, Danny, and I think they are going to grow, and they have to grow because the franchise fee that it takes to buy in right now is $500 million, and I think the current franchise owners want more money because I don't think they're making a ton of money. I think they're making 10, 20 million a year, but they want 30, 40, 50, 100 million a year like the NFL.
So
I
like,
think
Did he just say 500 million?
yeah,
nailed it.
yeah, that's the buy-in.
So
fee.
so this guy,
No.
David Beckham,
No.
$25 million.
Yes.
that was worked
Yes,
in his
for his franchise
contract
fee.
when he came
Yes,
in,
so
though.
that was
He
part of
He
his
got a
deal.
nice
completely-
deal.
Oh my god!
So the
completely
newest,
mugged off the MLS.
the newest MLS team that's going to start up.
But
next
they knew
year is
David
San
could
Diego.
do what he could do, and Miami is bringing Messi and everyone. He
San
knew he could do
Diego
that.
just started up, and it cost him $500 million franchise fee before he put any money into a stadium, players, infrastructure, anything.
Yeah.
You want to be part of this group? It's $500 million.
Yeah.
Thank you for your money. Now go build your product. Yeah.
Wow.
And you want to do it 2, 3, 4 years away from now?
Yeah.
That price goes up
Yeah.
because 3 years ago it was $300 million. And I know that Las Vegas is hot on the trot right now to do it because it's the Aston Villa owners, and they've actually bought land and they've bought the naming rights, and they are hot to trot to get an MLS team in Las Vegas.
Yep.
The Las Vegas Villains. Rolls off the tongue. I love it.
That's his, yeah.
So it's not. I mean, it's not too different to what Michelle Kang's doing right now, right? She bought the
NWSL.
the NWSL. She bought the Washington Spirit for around
Yeah.
40 million.
Yeah,
Now
she's done a good job with that club.
But
I think
did-
they're in first place in the league.
Did you read that she's almost about? Well, it's pretty much a done deal that she's buying Lyon. in
Oh, I didn't
France.
see that.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
55 million.
Holy
She's buying
crap,
Lyon,
that's
so
a
she-
great price for that club.
So you know,
Woo!
and
history.
But I love what she said. I watched the interview where she was talking about, obviously pumping money into Washington Spirit, who she won the NWSL last year, and now she's going to buy Lyon, who we all know is a European monster in the women's game.
Yep.
I actually love a quote that she said. It's not a money making business, and there's still ways. It's still a ways to go to break even.
Yes.
So
And NWSL in the women's game for sure.
you need to scale to invest, and it's not just about one team, but more teams. I want more teams.
Yeah.
So she's quite confident, and she wants to grow the women's game.
Yeah. I
on
think-
multiple continents, and I think that's awesome.
I think soccer in America, I think all of them are gunning for baseball, that's for sure, to knock them off the pedestal. They've
coming
already got
close.
hockey. I honestly think, the NFL and NBA are really satisfied with where they are. And they've tried, and NBA you can see now are tinkering with ways to try to get more fans back in. Now, this last NBA playoffs and whatnot, there were good numbers for things I read. Things were up. But I think a lot of people in other leagues are nervous about what soccer is going to be in this country because it's the world's game. And every other sport is American: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, right? It's not a world game like it is on the world stage for soccer.
Yeah, you're
And there
right.
is so much more money to be made in soccer with MLS clubs and their merchandise and everything. So I honestly think I could see 32 or 34 teams coming in to MLS. But I think where it's going to really help after all these competitions in America will be the lower leagues, will be USL Championship, USL League One, in those smaller towns that are like, we want something. Well, now a good person has ambition to maybe want to put a team there, and it's a lower expansion fee. And then maybe one day, knock on wood, we'll get promotion relegation in some way,
Don't see it happening. Not with
or
franchise
more
fees.
competition between the lower league and upper league in the United States, where
What would be great? You mentioned USL Championship there and other divisions. I think what would be great was if some of that money that was generated through soccer, now that it's growing, was trickled into those organizations to
Agreed.
make them better at the grassroots level and the
Yes.
semi-professional level.
because it only helps the game, because now you have academies with those USL clubs, and then
Just
now
takes
kids
the
have
right-
somewhere to play,
Takes
and then
the
they
right owners in place to make that happen and to realize that growing the
does.
sport at a younger age will help them in a
Yes.
couple of years at the higher level.
Yes,
You're right.
agreed.
It does. All right, boys, we do have to move on. A lot to get to here before we end up. Real quick, we were just talking about it. Let's show the NWSL table.
Yep.
And I don't have the microphone set up. Yes, I do. Sorry, we do. My bad. Apologies. National Women's Soccer League. Here it is. There's 12 teams. One of our favorite teams is the Washington Spirit, as we talked about. In fourth, they've got Chloe Ricketts. Came
I
off
like
the
the
bench
Portland
yesterday.
Thorns.
Huh?
I'm a Portland Thorns.
You're a
fan.
Portland. You know what? You just have to be different. You have to be different every time, don't you, Brooks?
Well, working for the Timbers as a scout for a while, you
That's
just
a good
kind of gravitate towards them.
All right. Well, I do like that all four of them, all 12 teams have played 14 or 13 games. So they're all very close. It is very close here at the top. 26 points, 25, 24, 23, 21. North Carolina Courage leading the way. Portland Thorns, your Portland Thorns, Brooks, are in
The
second
jerseys
place.
are terrible this year, but they've had some good ones
See,
in
I
the
don't
past.
mind the jerseys this year.
Yeah.
See, Washington are going through a little bit of a blip at the minute.
Yeah, a little bit of a downturn.
3 defeats in the last
Yeah.
4.
North Carolina Courage doing really well. That's always been a strong team.
Now, let's not forget, all these teams are going to go through a little bit of a blip again
Sure, 'cause
as
the World Cup,
the
Women's World
Women's
Cup.
World Cup comes about here. And a lot of these players are going to disappear for a month, and then they're going to have to recover when they get home.
Yes.
But here is the NWSL table. So,
Chicago Red Stars, man, both Chicago teams, Fire and Red Stars, are and they were the ones that kind
Yeah.
of, with all the stuff that was going down, they switched coaches and everything, and
And Angel FC just fired their coach, didn't they?
they
Did they?
did.
Yeah.
They did.
Oh,
High
wow.
expectations there in Los Angeles. Like, they want to win that ownership.
Yeah,
group.
they
That's an
came-
ownership group with a lot of different movie stars and big.
Yeah, they
people.
came out and said that they thanked her for the foundation that she built and something to build on. But
Yeah.
the recent results weren't great.
yep, I mean, that's how quick it can go, right?
Yeah.
And they put a lot of money. You're right. They got a lot of celebrities who've bought into Angel City. Love their badge. by the
San
way.
Diego Wave doing
Absolutely
well.
love their
Middle of the table at 6.
Yeah, San Diego Wave doing well. Orlando Pride not doing so well. Kansas City Current, owned by Mahomes and his wife, not doing so well.
Yeah.
But New York, New Jersey, Gotham. You know what I got to say about the NWSL? I absolutely love almost all the badges, all the logos, and everything they've got.
I like their names.
I think they've done a phenomenal
They
job.
didn't follow the
Really
typical soccer name. You know, it's American, I guess, right? But it was
it's American,
well
but
chosen.
there's a little bit of, I don't know. I just love it. All right, let's jump to MLS real quick. Here we go with the East table again. Nate, here you go. FC Cincinnati. They are head and shoulders the best team right now in the entire MLS, and they're leading the Eastern Conference by 6 points here. Still a game in hand above Nashville SC.
Yes.
Inter Miami, they went through a bad streak there, but finally won the other day. Toronto FC fired Bob Bradley. They are still at the bottom of the table.
Hot take.
Yep. Do not tell me that you think his son is coming to play.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Here's my hot take with Bob Bradley. Chicago has fired Ezra Henderson. Okay, Frank Klopas is the assistant right now. Bob Bradley began where his coaching career in MLS?
I have no idea.
Chicago Fire.
There you go. So you could go back there, huh? Calling it?
I think so. I think it's calling his name.
All right. Well, that's interesting. We'll keep tabs on that one. See if you're right on that one.
Yeah. 3 for 3, Craig. 3 for 3. I will be.
3 for 3. Yeah. Let's. We're not counting your losses. Understood. I know where that goes.
Yeah.
I still have National Women's Soccer League above here in the title. Apologies.
Western Conference.
Here's the Western Conference. So St. Louis City again leading up there, 35 points. They have just been the surprise of the year for me. Who would have thought that a newly formed team would just be taking the league by storm? Man.
Yep. They play some good football too.
They do.
They
Pressing
do.
style. You know, but they've did a good job of not overspending on players. They got the right ones in. Roman Berkey has been solid for them. They've mixed him with college players. They've mixed him with other domestic guys that have been in the league for. It was a good combination. Now they've had some injuries. Obviously, their best center forwards out was for St. Louis, but they've got it done. And they've gotten it done. And, you know, whether it's a draw or a win here on the road or whatever, they've gotten results, you know, when they needed to. And it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up. And it'll be interesting to see if they can compete for an MLS Cup.
And at the bottom of the table, Colorado Rapids and LA Galaxy. They got a long way to go, man.
Yep.
Long way to go there. All right, boys. You know what we are going to do now?
The comments?
We're gonna do a little bit of have a little bit of fun here. I'm gonna read off some comments. So just so everybody's aware, in our Facebook group, we put a post up that said, "What is something you can say on a soccer field, but it means something completely different off the field?" And we got, oh my gosh, it went a little nutty with some of the answers here. So we're gonna read off some of the good ones here. You guys ready? All right, here we go. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see properly. All right, we'll start off with the first one. There's a man on your back. All right. We need more numbers in the box. Get stuck in. Park the bus and go down easy. Penetrate and finish. Up and in. Nate says, I love you, Craig. Here's a good one. Do him. Yep, love it. Whip it in the hole. Skin him. Boobs over ball. We've all heard that one before. Man on. Get high. Get higher. Just slip it in. Stay on your man. Stretch it wide. These are a lot of these from Steve Beck here. More balls over the top. Stay deep. Quicker in the box. Get aggressive in the box. He's sending the balls deep. Switch. Put it in the hole. Oh, wait, that's golf. I coached, this one's from Chris King. I coached a player named Jack. During a match, I shouted out, Jack in the box.
Love Chris King.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Oh, man, what a player he was. What a player he still is. All right. What's something?
What mine was.
What?
I forgot what mine was that I put there.
Oh, we'll see if we can find. What's something you say on the soccer field but not in real life? Nice header. Stay on top. Those are some nice balls. Coach, you really need to wash your balls.
There's mine.
Touch it tight. His soft touch on balls from the back is spectacular. There were a lot.
I don't think there was anything I said on a football field back in the day when I was playing that you could say off.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
Not at all.
I had a member say, Brooks, can I say this in there? I'm like,
what was it?
Touch of a rapist.
Ooh, yeah, we've all said that on a soccer
yeah.
field, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And a big thank you for Mr. Danny Price for filling in for Nate while he sleeps in the woods and fights off bears and does whatever he does with squirrels. So, Danny, thank you very much for joining us, man.
Oh, perfect. Love it every time. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll say goodbye and cheers.
Cheers.